Unlimited cash back up to 4% when you use your American Heritage Cash Reward MasterCard for essential items such as groceries, gas, and purchases from pharmacies and home improvement stores. You'll earn 2% cash back on all other purchases, such as travel and dining. There's no limit on the amount of cash back you can earn, giving you more purchasing power for each transaction. Visit AmericanHeritageCU.org/cashback. Insured by NCUA. Not a member? Join today. Equal Opportunity Lender.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, good Friday, everyone. Welcome in. It is Dom time, and the president pardoned over 20 pro-life folks, Thomas More Society involved, that were so worthy of this. And it brings into focus, I haven't heard the bishops say anything about it. Not a word from the bishops. But I'm going to play you Bishop Seitz, who's the bishop in El Paso, talking about how the Catholic Church is going to stand against all this nonsense of deportations. And President Trump. Where were they when President Biden was the most extreme abortion president as a policy that we've seen, yet not only a Catholic, but a devout Catholic? All right, so this whole deportation thing takes a bit more of a turn here. Now, Bruce Castor is going to be here at 12:30, big-time lawyer, friend over the years. And he had a lot to say about Krasner and the J6 defendants if he moves to now persecute them by continuing to go after them on some, pun intended, trumped-up charge. But in addition to that, Castor defended a bunch of J6 defendants. I was unaware of that till this all went down yesterday. So I'll ask him about that. Mark Hal will be here at 2 o'clock today. He, of course, suffered under the FACE Act, under what we're talking about, that these 20 people pardoned are now free. Now, did they violate technically some laws somewhere? I'm not going to be one of those guys and skip over it. They were praying inside an abortion clinic or in front of it. But the penalties under FACE are beyond draconian, because at all costs, they want to make you pay, as Mark Hal did, remember that raid, if you dare challenge what's going on in abortion mills. That's what the Biden administration did, and the bishops didn't say anything about that, did they? They didn't say, well, we're going to protest ourselves. Did you, Dolan or Seitz or Perez? Did you say anything about it? Well, here is Bishop Seitz, though. He was on CBS, I think it's CBS this morning. Now, the Catholic Church also has a conflict, as some of you know, and it's hard to even calculate how much. They get paid a lot of money to move illegal immigrants around and resettle them. Yes, along with any number of Protestant sects, but they may be the biggest. So they're compromised all over the place. How do they have any standing at all? Well, they don't. How do they still have people in the Catholic Church? And the answer is, they're replacing the Catholics of old, and you have people who are still wedded to the church, and they don't care about these bishops and their nonsense, and they continue on. Listen to this guy now. Remember how many times I played you the Bishop of Tucson saying he wanted to excommunicate Border Patrol that were enforcing the Trump policies, so-called separation of families? Just picture that. Who are these guys? Where do they come from? How have they turned around? Well, some of it's Francis, a crazed progressive masquerading as a pope. He's appointed, put into play, and he's trying to do that even late in life to continue this for more and more years. That's where some of them come from. Others have just always been this way, and now they have, over the last 10 years, more of a chance to exhibit it. So here's the Bishop of El Paso on CBS News this morning.
Is the Catholic Church in the United States taking a formal position on President Trump's immigration policies in recent days?
We are. We think we have to speak to many of these policies, which we see as going against some of the basic tenets of our faith, frankly. The fundamental right of every human person that need to be respected, no matter their origin, no matter their situation.
What is the strategy for the church in the United States, if any, in terms of dealing with this administration beyond the immigration issues this week? Do you have a big picture 4-year approach to how you're going to handle this moment?
Well, I think all of us are in the church and without are looking to see what shape this administration takes and what positions they actually land on. I don't think any of us knows exactly, but things have come into a clearer light in regard to the immigration questions right now, and so we're responding to those.
Is the Vatican paying close attention to what's happening here in the U.S. and Pope Francis? Are they keeping tabs on this through the conference? And do you expect Catholic leaders, including the Pope, to meet with President Trump at some point this year?
Well, I can't say what Pope Francis's plans might be, but he certainly is paying attention, and he has spoken to some of the concerns based on what the now president said during his campaign. He expressed a great deal of concern about some of the proposals.
I don't know. The catechism must have changed. There's sections in here this guy's referring to. What he should have done with the bishop is let's drill down a little bit here and let's talk about the people that have been taken away here. Let's talk about their crimes. Let's talk about the risk we face from them. How about that, Bishop? Let's talk about the previous president and his nonsense that you said nothing about and will continue to say nothing about. So it's going to be very interesting to see what these bishops, archbishops, and cardinals actually do in the face of this. But I don't see them, the St. Thomas More Society, or the great people who helped Mark Hal. They're the ones that secured this pardon from President Trump of these people. You know, if they're going to be cited for a misdemeanor, look, you have to follow the law. And if there's a misdemeanor offense here around an abortion clinic, okay, you know that. You know, Martin Luther King Jr. knew he was violating the law, even though the law was immoral. You're willing to pay the price. But the draconian punishments that they suffer are very similar to what happened to Mark Hal early on a Sunday morning, the whole world storming his house with 7 kids inside to persecute him. That's exactly what happened here. And these bishops and this underpinning of the church, they're all about this stuff. They're not embracing this, not saying anything about this. They're concerned about people that are here illegally, many of them horrific criminals. And they want to lecture the rest of us on this stuff about some vague pieties. They have no, ask about Lake and Riley, ask about that. Ask about what they would do here. They have no plan. They just want to lecture. So if you are Catholic, I'd love to ask that broader question. How is this sustainable with people? Who is it that's still buying this stuff? Are they just too big to fail? There's such an infrastructure of the Catholic Church. It will always be there despite this type of gibberish. It's a real problem. This guy's seats is in good standing. That's why CBS News had him on. I'd put any one of these guys on. They won't come on. We asked many times for the Bishop of Tucson. He would probably excommunicado in the middle of that. You don't even buy that. You're excommunicating. Well, you're going to hell, buddy, because you don't agree with us. And you are not following what the code book now. Illegals first, not Americans first. All right, 855-839-1210. That's how you get a line. Victor Fiorillo's got an interesting thing here, too. Victor over at Philly Mag is Victor in the tank. worried about illegal immigration and people being picked up in our area. And he said he's hearing, and you can see it, Upper Darby is the centerpiece of this. In today's Philly Mag, his big piece or whatever heading into the weekend, he says that ICE raid rumors swirl in Philly's migrant community. And this is in the wake of Trump being inaugurated. And in this, he says many of the anecdotal reports center on two large Upper Darby parking lots where men are seen by the dozens every morning waiting for contractors to show up in pickup trucks and give them work. So, okay, people are here working. That's a good thing. Now they're not showing up because of Trump. But is this process, contractors showing up, is that good for Americans? Or is it just good for the contractors to have cheap labor showing up in a parking lot? You do whatever you want with them. I would ask the question in, our union brethren, where are you guys? Victor Fiorillo knows some parking lots where all kinds of dozens, hundreds of guys are, and contractors show up. Where are you to call attention to that? Doesn't that undercut unions? Doesn't it undercut American workers? If everybody in the world knows in Upper Darby, it's there. Where are those people to point this out? 855-839-1210. That's how you get in. So Bruce Castor here at 1230. We have Mark Hal coming off these pro-life people who were pardoned. And these are people where there's no doubt, whatever we've said this week about J6, there is no doubt that these are people that were excessively held, brutally held under this FACE Act. Same law, cockamamie court. Thank God Mark Hal was able to beat it and did not have to go to jail. Well, I think there was a period of time he was in jail around this stuff. And in talking about this, they point out how few times the Biden administration has ever gone after those that are firebombing pregnancy centers and the like. But you show up at an abortion clinic and you have one step toward big time stuff. Trump, the right thing, his advisors, the right thing. Glad these people are out. I don't know if Mark Hal knows them, knows of them. I know he's got a civil lawsuit that I hope he wins against multiple people. Okay, here's how you get in. 855-839-1210. Now, yesterday was Oscars nominations came down, and we kidded around, talked about that, some of them ridiculous. What we're looking for today on the side question is to hit us with a film that may be widely spectacular. People rave about it, or at least they say really good things about it. If it, not top 100 of all time, really good things, but you think you don't get it. Maybe you think it's a bit overrated. Maybe you even think it's a lot overrated. Now, I hate these fantasy films, The Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah.
It takes me back to when I was still teaching high school, and I think it started then. Oh, my God.
Wait, are you saying that the nerds were reading it, so you don't like it?
I don't think they were.
Were you judging your students?
Yeah, I don't think they were reading. Of course. Yeah,
this guy's a dork.
I don't think they were reading it as much as talking about it and all kinds of stuff. They may have been reading it slightly. The other one I'll take off is Citizen Kane. I've seen Citizen Kane a number of times. It is not the greatest film of all time. I get it. I get what the driving force is, the genius of Orson Welles and all that, and Rosebud. But you got Godfather, you got Godfather 2, you got any number of those.
Kind of overrated.
It's overrated. It might be in the top. It's in the top 50 films, I guess.
What, Godfather?
No, Citizen Kane.
Oh, I thought you were
to
Godfather.
Okay, Dan, what's yours?
Dom, I'm going to go with, first off, Avatar, James Cameron's master.
I would agree.
Yeah, I would
agree.
It's terrible. There's nothing special about it. Castaway with Tom Hanks, 2.5 hours of watching a guy on an island talk to a volleyball.
I don't agree with that. I don't think anybody makes it a master film. I mean, it's good.
No, it's rated highly. It was critically acclaimed.
For sure.
Yeah.
And the way that the story unfolds, critics were...
Well, you think about how hard it is, one man carrying being stranded on an island, that's a lot.
Yeah, but I don't want to watch it. Yeah, it's
Okay,
an impressive performance from Tom Hanks, but I don't care to spend 2.5 hours watching a dude on an island.
I think they do a lot of little things. That's always a motif. Gilligan's Island. This is on a masterful level.
And
Okay.
I'm trying, Dom. I'm really trying hard because my entire life I was never that kind of guy, but my wife is. She's a big fan of the Harry Potter series.
Okay.
And I've kind of, casually watched the films, but I wanted to pay attention and watch them in order. So that's what we're doing now. Just wrapped up the fourth one, and I gotta say, those movies are totally overrated. I just can't. I can't get into
They're
it.
a kids thing.
I don't know if it is though. It's like a really Hollywood. You really get into it. You're supposed to feel it and feel like you're at Hogwarts. And we started it around Christmas, so it felt like Christmas in the first two one. Well, first
Christmas,
one. And,
Harry.
yeah, it's
Okay.
not that good. No.
All right, so we got a lot of them.
is
You
great.
want to place yours pretty early. Henry, what's your number
Yeah,
one?
so I got two here.
Yeah.
And let me preface this first one by saying I think this is a good movie.
Oh, man, here
I
we go.
enjoy
Yes.
it,
Yeah.
but
I've
at
got to
its
couch
core,
it.
it's completely overrated, and that would be the movie Goodfellas.
That sounds
I-
like the Sons of Italy. Sons
a
of
big
Italy. If
one.
you're a member of the Sons of Italy, 855-839-1210. You may want to
Henry.
call in.
Look.
Yeah.
I think it's a very good movie. But I've spoken about this before. I think
Yeah.
Marty Scorsese just makes good movies. I don't watch any of his movies and go, oh man, that was fantastic, that was awesome. Like I watched Killers of the Flower Moon last year, and I was like, you know what, that was a good movie. It was almost 3.5 hours. I was like, it was a good
length.
movie.
Yeah, he's gone
Not
with
anything
length,
more
yeah.
than that. So, and then the other one I'm going to take off is the movie Drive, starring Ryan Gosling.
That's a good one.
It's got a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Great
I'd give it
soundtrack.
about a 20 because that is an absolute nothing burger of a movie.
The rise that you have of all this 80s music and all now is really due to the rise of Kavinsky that came with that soundtrack. It's a big
You
film,
can
man.
put
It's
all
a
the
good one.
80s music you want in that movie. It still stinks. Nothing happens. He just
All right.
drives.
I don't know that, so I'll have to.
Oh, let me
drive.
stand
I'll
back,
take-
lady. We're in
yeah.
the elevator, and this guy's going to
Yeah.
hit you.
All right. All right. So that's how you get in on the side question. Coming off yesterday's Oscars, we went through it, the trans film. Still, we're going down that path. And the anti-Trump film with two people nominated for top awards in that. Catholics and this message. What are you expecting to hear? What do you hear in your church? Do they speak about this? Because the bishops, archbishops, and cardinals, they're all over this, telling us about human dignity as people are being murdered and attacked. That's not in the gospel to these guys. The gospel is the gospel of St. Francis. Go wherever you want. Do whatever you want. It doesn't matter, except don't do it in Vatican City. They have laws against that. All right, phone lines, 855-839-1210, AT&T, and Verizon Wireless. All you need to do is just push pound 1210. Love to get you on board. Talk Radio 1210.
Hey, navigation, take me to TurnersvilleJeep.com.
For January only, TurnersvilleJeep.com is offering 0% APR for up to 72 months on select models. TurnersvilleJeep.com is home to over 200 new Jeeps and Rams in stock and ready for immediate delivery. TurnersvilleJeep.com is also offering discounts up to 20% off MSRP on select models. 0% for 72 months equals $13.89 per thousand finance through SFS on approved credit. Ends 1/31/25.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-580-7766. 800-580-7766. That's 800-580-7766.
New year, new ride. Start off the new year with Hessert Chevrolet of Cherry Hill, formerly Mall Chevrolet. Get fantastic finance and lease offers on a wide selection of new models. Whether you're looking to lease or finance, we have great deals to help you drive into the new year in style. Hessert Chevy of Cherry Hill offers one of the largest inventories in the area. For over 40 years, the Hessert family has been a trusted part of this community. Together, let's drive. Visit HessertChevyCH.com.
Hessert Chevrolet! Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details. I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Free speech lives here. With Rich Zioli weekday afternoons 3 till 7 on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
All right, it is Dom time, 855-839-1210. You get on board. Bruce Castor here at 1230. A lot to report. He defended, I'm not sure how many J6 defendants. And when Larry Krasner talks about persecuting him now under state law, he's got a lot to say about what would be triggered, what would happen around that. Speaking of Krasner, we were right when we told you yesterday, very early on, that the Democrats met the ward leaders, Bob Brady, and they said, no, we're not endorsing this guy this time around. So no endorsement for Krasner. The Krasner people respond that that's why these guys are not growing the vote. They don't know that progressives love this guy. How could you not endorse him? All right, so it's going to be a heck of a dogfight. I think there's a real shot here. How would I rank? I got to be honest. Trump winning, yes, that's the big picture. I get it, all that involves nationally. But if you ask me personally, and I'm being brutally honest, being there in May and seeing Larry Krasner defeated, that would be more personal satisfaction. That would be just unbelievable. Just to see that news conference, to hear what he might say. I predict he would cower it out and wouldn't even say anything, or demand a recount, or to say it was rigged or something like that. I think there's a real shot. There are enough elements in Philadelphia now that want this to be over with Krasner. And who is the honorary captain? I don't know if we got this because I saw it late, but who is the honorary captain? Here it is. It's cut 16. Here is the honorary captain pulling out all the stops to win this game on Sunday.
Hey, Philadelphia, Nick Foles here. I'm excited to announce that I'm going to be this weekend's NFC Championship game honorary captain for the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm excited to be back in the link. I'm excited to watch the Eagles play. But most importantly, one of my favorite moments as an Eagle was in the NFC Championship game and the energy the crowd brought. There was nothing ever like it. I never experienced anything like that in my life. It was amazing. So bring it this weekend. Bring the energy. Be rowdy. Yell those Eagles chants. And, of course, fly, Eagles, fly.
All right. Is this a secret plan? If Hurts is immobilized anymore, can't, after a quarter or two, go? Who would you put in there? Nick Foles without any preparation, or Kenny Two Gloves? You know who I'm going with.
No, that's not a bad idea.
Put him in there.
Yeah.
Hey,
Magic. He's got it. And he would have done it the second time, except for Alshon Jeffrey dropping that pass.
Don't forget about the most popular quarterback in town, Tanner McKee.
Oh, that's right.
He
Well,
needs some shine.
No, I think Nick Foles is who you got. You can't explain it. Don't. I think I'll throw a touchdown. Doesn't know what he's doing. I didn't say that, but he just did it, and he did it the second time around. Okay.
With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million.
L-E-S, Eagles!
I got.
Let's go Bears!
I got to say, what an embarrassment. There are shirts out there now around it. I guess that's how you have to play it if you are Mayor Parker, but embarrassing. Come on, Sherelle. It's kind of embarrassing to put them on. Anybody can get wound up, but this is just ridiculous stuff. All right, so Nick Foles, I think he'll come out at some point with the crowd. At least that's the sense I got from all this.
Mm-hmm.
That's pulling out all the stops. That's the big guy.
Does he truly deserve a statue outside the stadium?
Of course.
Yeah.
It's like a Paul Bunyan thing.
You
You
really
can't
think so?
explain it. It's magic. It's not for longevity of a career or whatever. It's for magical moments.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if they win another one, will that, take it down a notch? Sure, because it's...
Doesn't it say something that the person we're idolizing with a statue, though, is a backup quarterback?
But he was a starter. He had other years here where he was incredible.
Yeah, what was it?
I feel like he just gives ammo to the people who complain about the Rocky statue.
27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and he had a game where he threw
touchdowns versus
7
the Raiders.
touchdowns.
Yeah, I get that, but
I mean, it's uneven to put it mildly.
He
Explain
had one of the most interesting careers of
Oh, he
any
does.
athlete.
So if Jalen Hurts wins the Super Bowl, is he getting a statue?
No.
Why?
He's paid $50 million and he doesn't come. We did it because of the magic.
You're telling me
of
a
it.
guy that was a backup quarterback almost his entire career deserves a statue for us to worship, but the guy who we draft and develop and becomes the starting quarterback and
because Nick Foles actually did it. He's the one that won it.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts is along for the ride.
And Foles was almost like the prodigal son. Returning to us.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, he left. He went to St. Louis and was terrible. Went to Jacksonville, was terrible.
Exactly.
Came back as a backup, and you know what? He still has it.
Yeah, exactly. Put him in. Put Nick in. That should be the mantra. All right, 855-839-1210. Coming to you, though. Hit us with that film that you think people go a little bit too far with. Undistinguished class this year for the Oscars. Let's go to Gary in Newtown because I don't believe he's saying this. Hey, Gary, good afternoon. What do you have today, Gary?
I think we can make this call really, really short. Well, I don't know. I'm not you, but I'm going to tell you, if the point spread gets to 6.5 points, I'm taking Washington. I'm sorry.
Why should we even take this call? You're a traitor. You're a mercenary.
I'm with you, Gary.
No,
I think it'll be close.
I'm betting. I'm betting. I want the Eagles to win, but I want a win-win like I did last week. I took the Rams with 6.5, and not only did we beat them by 6, I won. I made money, so I'm sorry.
Well, it seems to me you're a bit distracted by all your gambling.
The thing is, though, and that's the thing is, when I gamble, oftentimes I'll refuse to gamble in this kind of spot because I don't want to be caught in the second half praying for my money that the game remains close and I'm pooping my pants with stress. I just want to see them pull away in that fourth quarter and blow them out.
Dan, I got to tell you, my brother called it. By the way, last Saturday was my first bet, honest to God. And he said, Jim, you're going to watch the game a whole lot different. And when they got the safety, I was the only person in the room cowering going, yes, yes.
Wait a minute there.
See, you can't be cheering that up.
Let's not get too crazy. Don't give away your alias there. Let's stick with Gary here. But, Gary, what's the film?
The setup was my wife and I had one young daughter at the time. We put her to bed. We're going to watch this fabulous – everybody's talking about this Oscar-rated movie. We're going to have a date night, got the wine going, got the cheese going, got the shortbread, whatever. And it's The Pianist. And it was the worst movie I've ever watched. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes.
Well, look, you shouldn't watch that for a date night. It's not a date night
Is it worse
film.
in the sense that it made you feel really dreary, or is it like you think it's an actually bad film?
It's a great film.
It was awful.
All right.
It was awful. And Dom, now I'm going to get excommunicated. I don't know. You are way better than I am. I could never be a Catholic. I mean, I hear you talk about your faith, and you're like the stand-up guy in my book, and I'm like, he's really the guy who is up against these bishops, the only person I know. But how you can actually go to church, I don't get it. You must have a really good priest.
All right, thank you, Gary, very much. Well, I might be spotty on church attendance. I'll admit that.
I think there's a lot of
exactly.
like my local priest is not very in step with the Pope.
Yeah,
either.
I think
a lot of priests
are
very
are not. But the Pianist is a great film. The thing is, though, it is an intense film. I mean, my God, it's intense. You don't want to be watching that for date night. You got to dial it down a little.
And Adrian Brody back on the scene with the Oscars with The Brutalist now.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah,
and he is. And The Pianist, it's unbelievable. But you can't watch that, though, expecting on a date night with wine or something. It's like going to the Passion of the Christ and bringing a vat of popcorn with you. Come on. Can't do it. Don't eat anything during something like that.
Pretty cool, though. The new film, it's about a Holocaust survivor who actually settles in Philadelphia. So
I didn't know it was in Philadelphia.
Yep.
Okay. I had no knowledge of the title of that. Okay. 855-839-1210. Bruce Castor, all-time great attorney, friend of the show, He's next. He had a lot to say when Larry Krasner started making noises, still is, about going after the J6 people, persecuting them. That's what it would be. But what would the repercussion be for Krasner? All right, Bruce will explain. I did not know until yesterday he was the defense attorney for several of them. He's next, and hit us on the side. Oh, The Pianist. Come on Talk Radio 1210.
I received a call one time, and the man said, "You probably won't call me back because I'm just a nobody." I immediately called him back. Nobody's a nobody.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. I always wanted to be the lawyer who represented the little guy, the voiceless, the powerless.
I was rear-ended by a car probably doing about 50 or 55 miles an hour. My car caught on fire. I'm a paraplegic, so I couldn't get out of the car. They were struggling to get me out of the vehicle. After the accident, I gave Morgan & Morgan a call, and they understood what I was going through, and they were there to help me each step of the way. It made me feel that I had people behind my back to help me and resolve the case.
I represented him, and we did well because we get the chance to help people put their lives back together and to go on as best they can after a life-altering day. There's only one you, there's only one Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our Timeshare Exit Information Kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
As a business owner, you wear a lot of hats. One minute you're ordering today's inventory, and the next you're planning tomorrow's expansion. It's complicated. But your business credit card should be simple. With the Signify Business Cash Card by Wells Fargo, you earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases for your business with no caps or categories to track. Signify Business Cash, the deliberately simple business credit card. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/signify. Terms apply.
It's the grand opening of King Shooter Supply in King of Prussia, Sunday, February 2nd from noon till 6. With deals and specials you won't want to miss. The gun store and shooting range is complete with an additional 7 more indoor lanes, 14 total, a huge parking lot rear entrance, and the same great staff inside. King Shooters welcomes beginners into their family of competitive shooters, recreational shooters, law enforcement professionals, and hunters, helping you find the right firearm, ammunition, and accessories. 346 East Church Road in King of Prussia, on Facebook and at kingshooters.com.
Saving for retirement is one thing. Making your money last? For that, you may need some help. Listen to Joe Yakovich on The Heart of Your Money, Sundays at 9 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hi, Dawn Stensland here. You've heard me talk for years about Chapman Windows, Doors, and Siding. I love the work the Chapman family team has done in my home, especially that glass wall of patio doors in my foyer. You know by now, if I needed new windows, doors, siding, stucco remediation, I would only trust the Chapman family team. Until the end of January, get 50% off any standard door installation when you buy a new door. A new front entry door can really change the look of your home. If you have an upcoming wedding or maybe a graduation taking place this year, I'd take advantage of this fantastic promotion before it's too late. And yes, you have so many choices with the Chapman family team, including Provia. They're going to work with you to pick the perfect door for you. Either visit their showroom in Westchester or they'll come to your home. Call or text 610-431-8898, ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. Chapman, tell Dawn sent you.
Weather sponsored by Robert Half.
Forecast will remain quiet through the weekend. We'll see a mixture of sunshine and clouds today. Still chilly with a high of around 33. For tonight, another cold night. Partly cloudy, low 18 for the city. Colder out in the suburbs. And for Saturday, partly sunny conditions. Highs once again around 33.
9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. Our recruiting professionals utilize an award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
All right, Dom Giordano's show. So Larry Krasner makes national news again. Last time it was Elon Musk. Now he wants to go after the J6 people part in defendants, claiming somehow or another state law might apply. First of all, that doesn't seem possible or likely. And two, what would the consequence be for him? And then Delaware Valley Journal, second to none, asked Bruce Castor all that, and he's with us now to give us some answers. Bruce, welcome back. Thanks for joining us.
Dom, thank you for having me on the program again.
So when you hear this from Krasner, is there anything out there under state law? What kind of bank shot, just possibilities, Bruce, would he be talking about?
Well, the only thing I could think of would be if the Commonwealth could demonstrate that a participant or participants in a conspiracy engaged in that conspiracy in this case, the city of Philadelphia, and then one of them went to D.C. to carry out an act in furtherance of that conspiracy. That's all I can think of. It seems pretty outlandish to me. It looks like a publicity stunt to me.
Right. But you did talk, too, about there could be he could be sued civilly, personally, right?
Yeah. I mean, all of us who do that kind of work know very well the limits of qualified immunity. And we've all learned a lot more about qualified immunity lately because of the Supreme Court decision as it relates to President Trump. Prosecutors have absolute immunity for what they say in court and what they file in court records. But what a prosecutor does outside of court and outside of that context has qualified immunity, which means the prosecutor has to be doing something in furtherance of their duties, and it has to be done in good faith. So if the prosecutor knows that what they're doing is not being done in good faith, and while arguably pursuing any criminal investigation within the jurisdiction of the prosecutor is in furtherance of their job, if they know that it's in bad faith, they could be in danger of losing their limited liability and therefore subjecting the city and themselves personally to liability. So you have to be very careful. I mean, how many times did you see me do press conferences where I reminded everybody that they're presumed innocent when we were arresting somebody, because I wasn't saying that they were guilty. I was saying we had enough evidence that we were arresting them.
Yeah, you've been on both sides of this. Sure.
Yeah. And it's almost impossible to explain the the contempt that those of us who defended January 6th defendants, I defended 4 people. My partner, Mike Vandervan, also defended people. And the contempt we have for these cases is mind-blowing. You know my background and my general pro-law enforcement stance. When I was down in D.C., I know when I'm supposed to win a case. And I tried a case down there in one of the 1-6 cases, and there was absolutely no chance that this, A, would have even been a crime if it had occurred in Pennsylvania, but B, that the government should have won. And when the verdict came back guilty on one of them, I was appalled. It's just stunning the abuse of the system that was conducted in that case, and of course in the many cases we saw related to President Trump in New York City and Atlanta and the New York.
Well, Bruce, back to that. You're the perfect guy because you are as pro law enforcement as I am, or beyond, and your record says that. But Bruce, I did think Trump should have instantaneously. A lot of these cases they never should have been brought, or were misdemeanors, or they were overcharged, or there was prosecutorial difficulty. Where there's some, though, in your judgment, because in mine there were, they may be as few as 15 to 20, where people did attack cops and deserved a substantial sentence.
And I think you saw that. I think that a number of cases were commuted, and which is the difference between a commutation and a pardon is their sentences reduced. I don't know that there was any conduct that occurred that day that warranted years in prison if you didn't have a record. If the people had been in prison for 3 years and the president decided that was enough, I'm inclined to think that the president ought to be given the benefit of the doubt on those. One of the things that just infuriated me is the prosecutors in that case sent me dozens and dozens of hours of video surveillance from that day that had nothing whatever to do with my client, wasting my time watching it. And most of it was looking at, nothing.
What was your client charged with, Bruce, if you can tell us?
The trespass and that kind of stuff. I got in the one case I was just referring to, the guy who was in charge of the Capitol Police that day was a commander with 31 years experience. I used an overhead map where an X was where my client was arrested. And I asked the guy, "Is that on the Capitol grounds?" And he said no. Well, it turns out that it was, but that guy didn't even know it. And my client was from Oregon, and the first time that person had ever been there. So how do you lose that case, And I took a photograph from the Capitol steps of my client standing where the arrest took place, and I had to blow it up 10 times in order to be able to tell it was a person, much less my client, to tell you how far away it was.
How about
Woods couldn't hit his driver that day.
How about the conditions in the jail, too? We're told they intentionally, at least in some of these cases, seem to go out of their way. It happened with the Watergate people, too, in the Washington jails.
Yeah, it was absolutely appalling, the conditions that these people were put in and the treatment that they were given by federal officers or municipal officers in D.C. It was like going through the looking glass when I'm used to general sanity in Pennsylvania law enforcement and Pennsylvania prosecution.
I hear you. I wish I had known that. We would have had you on at that point, Bruce. So how do you see what's going on now, particularly out of Montgomery County? The DA is not one of those guys like Krasner. I'm talking about the illegal immigration stuff that's already happened. And without doubt, the people that are being taken away, the records, the stuff that they've done or they're charged with is extraordinary.
Well, let's remember that all of these guys, like Krasner and Letitia James and that guy in New York and that Fannie Willis and all these other crazy prosecutors, all of them post-date Montgomery County DA Kevin Steele and his outrageous treatment of in the Cosby case, and they were watching that. And when nothing bad happened to him, they figured, well, what the hell? We may as well play to our constituents too. It doesn't matter what your oath is; you should play to your constituents, and you'll be in office forever.
Well, that's the mark against Steele, and I agree with you here. They're letting out prisoners during COVID for overcrowding that are not a threat. Cosby is a guy that has limited or no vision, et cetera, and was about 83 at that point, and yet he wouldn't let him go home.
Well, right. I mean, that's the only time in all the years I've been doing this, over 40 years, that I ever saw the Supreme Court let anybody out of jail without a remand or anything. I mean, that tells you how outrageous that was. But when prosecutors can get away with that, and there's no downside to playing to your voters, playing to your constituency, then you're going to keep having these crazy prosecutions like happened to President Trump or happened to Cosby, these sorts of things, because if nothing bad happens, because the whole part about being a prosecutor that sets them apart from everyone else is they have an oath to apply the facts to the law and apply that reasonably and with a blindfold. Now, in this case, if Krasner arrests somebody who was received a pardon from J6 stuff, what is his answer when the judge says, but for the pardons, would you have gone ahead and investigated and prosecuted this case? He has to say no, and that means it was a bad faith from the beginning, which creates double jeopardy issues, and it creates a liability for the city and perhaps for him. I mean, it's just an outrageous statement to make. When the electorate spoke nationwide, the chief executive acted, and now we're going to try to figure out some way to overrule what the president did. It's insanity.
Exactly. Well, we know you're in the bullpen, ready to go. So, Bruce, hey, Bruce, thank you. It's been way too long. Please keep us in the loop, and thank you for coming on today.
Absolutely, Dom. Thanks for having me.
All
Bye-bye.
right. All-time great attorney, Bruce Castor there. I didn't know some of the defendants he had. You heard what he said about Krasner. Here are the phone lines, 855-839-1210. Coming up, President Trump headed to California to turn on the spigot of all that federal aid. What are the two things that he wants the strings to be attached? I'll tell you what they are on Talk Radio 1210.
The exclusive crash-proof retirement system is tried and true, outperforming the market through the worst of economic times, as it did for crash-proof consumer Larry Kipp. In 2007, Mr. Kipp's crash-proof system earned 15.8% interest, outperforming the S&P. When the crash of 2008 struck and the market dropped over 37%, his crash-proof system lost nothing. Mr. Kipp did not have to recover from the crash. His system credited 10.8% interest permanently to his account, as others tried to recoup what they already had.
People talking about all the money that they lost, and I could sit there and say, well, I didn't lose any. I knew that I couldn't lose principal, and so when the crash came, I knew my money was safe. I would say that there is a crash-proof retirement. I have proof of it.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the William Penn Inn on February 4th, 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
When it comes to your home or business, Bradford White knows hot water is not optional. It's essential each and every day. That's why Bradford White makes water heaters that are built to be the best. With innovative features like our exclusive Microban antimicrobial technology that helps protect and keep the tank clean and extends the life of the water heater for top performance 24/7. How you heat your water matters, so choose the proven reliability of Bradford White. Learn more at bradfordwhite.com.
D&K Appliances is a family-owned and operated business for 3 generations located in Newtown Square and Flowertown. D&K Appliances offers one-stop shopping, providing delivery, installation, and service of top brands like GE, Thermador, Wolf, Bosch, Speed Queen, KitchenAid, and Whirlpool for your kitchen or laundry. D&K Appliance sales associates are industry experts, supporting customers every step of the way. Visit D&K Appliances, the dependable difference. Newtown Square and Flowertown showrooms, or visit dkappliances.com. Valentine's Day is almost here, and if you're still dragging your feet, here's my advice. Get to Family & Company Jewelers, and you're guaranteed to walk out with a gift that will last forever. They have a huge selection of 24-karat, gold-dipped roses in pretty much any color you can imagine. The perfect Valentine's Day gift is right on Route 70 in Marlton, New Jersey at Family & Company Jewelers.
Family & Company Jewelers, South Jersey's diamond destination.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guaranteed details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? Do it today at 1210 WPHT.
We've come to North Carolina with a simple message for all the people of this region who are hit so hard by Hurricane Helene, and that message is very simple. You are not forgotten any longer. You were treated very badly by the previous administration, and I'm here after a few days of the administration. We're going to California, Los Angeles. They got hit hard, as you know. A lot of that could have been prevented, I think.
All right, President Trump talking about reforming FEMA or getting rid of FEMA. These are massive undertakings. What a boondoggle of an organization. They really just are not top-notch. And it is, in the end, we've seen it so many times. FEMA is important. And the people sometimes put in charge are just political appointees. All right, what are the two things President Trump said this morning he'll be demanding? And let's talk about what he's going to do if they won't do it, which I don't think they will, from California in order to get the aid. One, to turn on the water. Gavin Newsom already saying, well, it's not that simple. We don't have the water and all that. Now, that one can be resolved maybe. They'll have the water if they'll not worry about the smelt fish. The other, though, is Trump saying, and this is master negotiation, California has to do voter ID. All right, here's a little bit of Trump saying that.
Funding to Los Angeles because of its sanctuary city policy?
I want to see two things in Los Angeles: voter ID, so that the people have a chance to vote, and I want to see the water be released and come down into Los Angeles and throughout the state. Those are the two things. After that, I will be the greatest president that California has ever seen. I want the water to come down and come down to Los Angeles, and also go out to all the farmland that's barren and dry. You know, they have land that they say is the equivalent of the land in Iowa, which is about as good as there is anywhere on earth. The problem is it's artificial because they artificially stop the water from going onto the land. So I want two things. I want voter ID for the people of California, and they all want it. Right now you don't have voter ID. People want to have voter identification. You want to have proof of citizenship. Ideally, you have one-day voting, but I just want voter ID as a start, and I want the water to be released, and they're going to get a lot of help from the U.S. Thank you very much. I'll see you in a little while.
All right. So, we have an interesting thing going on here. Trump is smart to say, as we talked about before, what are the strings that are going to be attached to this? You just can't have these people doing this routinely. On the other hand, you have real people suffering tremendously, some of it due to the nonsense that we've gone through with the fire chief, the mayor, the governor, the general politicization of everything that goes on there around DEI and everything else. Are you going to withhold aid? Now, you're not going to get voter ID out of them. I mean, you can tell them they're going to die and they're not going to give it up in that state, at least the politicians. But the water thing is critical so that we don't have this again and again and again. All right, let me go to Debbie and Manayunk on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Debbie.
Oh, my God, Dom, I've been AWOL, but I always listen to you.
Well, thank you, Debbie, very much.
So this really hit my buttons. The thing with the abortion and the protesters, it's absolutely insane because Biden destroyed a lot of the records, and the arrest, and that's really bad. Now I'm going to segue into the abortion thing and this Catholic Church and this DEI and this Episcopal lady. Okay, so they never called out Biden, who professes that he's this wonderful Catholic. No priest, no bishop, no cardinal ever told him, you can't have communion. You're in a state of mortal sin. Abortion to 9 months, who cares? The only one I'm aware of who stood up to them was Cardinal De Leon in San Francisco, who has balls. He stood up. He didn't care about the rest of the church. He refuses to let Nancy Pelosi publicly even have communion.
Yeah, it's rare, but this is going to be, what does it take before Catholics look at this and go, enough? We got to cut them off somehow. Now, the arrogance of this bishop trying to tell us that these vicious criminals among us have rights, have humanity. No, they don't. They can have it in another country.
So inappropriate for her to leash out and be some crazy rabid person. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit of my story. A cradle Catholic, married a Lutheran, belonged to a Lutheran church for 25 years. Guy was great. And then they brought in this DEI guy, dyeing his hair blue and wearing blue sneakers to church. And during COVID said, during virtual communion, you can use your donut or a Girl Scout cookie. I looked at my husband and I said, oh, my God, there's nothing sacred here. I'm out. And I vote with my feet. I left.
I hear you, Debbie. I'm working on that. If it's a thin mint, okay, maybe. But the donut you could use virtually here. All right, it's blessed. All right, well, it was COVID. All right, coming up, big 1 o'clock hour at 2 o'clock, Mark Hal, who suffered and now has a civil suit very similar to these protesters that President Trump freed and up and down the line objectively. I would have freed them first for anybody else. The abuse around the Abortion Clinic Act. You remember Houck. That's why we wanted him back. He underlines the whole thing. We have Dom's Money Melody. Get in on the side, too. What is that film that everybody says how good it is? And you may think it's a bit overrated or a lot overrated. 855-839-1210.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
When it comes to your home, trust is everything. For 45 years, Kitchen Magic has built a reputation for transforming kitchens with precision and care. From custom cabinets to countertops, backsplashes to storage solutions. And we get the job done fast. In just a few days, your dream kitchen becomes a reality without the hassle. So trust the name your neighbors have relied on for decades. Kitchen Magic. Get your free in-home consultation at kitchenmagic.com and let's cook up something extraordinary.
Looking for a great place for dinner, lunch? Need a great space for your next event? Gallows in Northeast Philly is it. Delicious soups, delectable clams casino, sweet and spicy salmon, the best chicken parm, all from their scratch kitchen. Need a place to watch Philly sports? Visit Harv's Burger Bar. Get the French onion burger or the Harv's Burger and the shrimp mac and cheese. Tremendous. For quality, variety, and value, visit Gallows Seafood and Harv's Burger Bar. GallowsandBurgerBar.com. Order your game day party tray now and go Birds!
Start the new year by making a statement in your home with beautiful, high-quality furniture from Bucks County Estate Traders. Browse over 16,000 pieces, all high-quality, famous brands, meticulously cared for and curated by our experts. Many pieces are even reupholstered by their talented team of craftsmen. You can furnish every room in your home with one trip to Bucks County Estate Traders. Their team of knowledgeable professionals provides a relaxed and rewarding experience. Visit BucksCountyEstateTraders.com or their showroom in Hatfield.
The working families of La Una Labor District Council of Pennsylvania, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia are proud contributors to all aspects of growth in this great city. The Labor District Council provides safe, well-trained, productive workers who enable projects to be done on time and under budget. We appreciate our signatory contractors and their commitment to fairness and equality. Laborers, we're building a better future today.
Brought to you by the Laborers District Council Licit Fund.
If you want jazz music, go to New Orleans. Bagels, New York. And for psychics, think California Psychics. You want the best, you go to the best. At California Psychics, home of free spirits and open minds, we know better than anyone what makes a good psychic. That's why we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
On Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, it is Dom time. I just saw this, and it triggers me to go back to yesterday with Jeff Van Drew, the mayor of Melham. And I think we had him on, Dan, right? Remember that town? The guy made a lot of news talking about the drones. He just put up a drone that he claims, well, he
really?
produces
Where's this?
on Twitter on Red Panda, footage of an orb, UFO shape, shifting into fixed-winged aircraft. He says these objects were not on flight radar. The mayor of Melham, New Jersey. He's a guy that was on in New York City. And I forget what he said that made international news about the drones. I'm mentioning that there's a broader point. We had Jeff Van Drew on yesterday. And we asked him, because he had just spoken with President Trump a couple times in the last few days about the drones. And he said it is a matter of concern. He saw Trump say, Susie Wiles, well, what's the answer on that? Go and get the answer on that. And then Van Drew, and we got a lot of callers on this, said, well, President Trump will know about this if the people who do know one way or another tell him. And I still had people sending me stuff after that yesterday saying, well, why didn't you push back on that? Nothing to push back on. I think what Van Drew is getting at here is that you still have people in government that no matter what may not even tell the president of the United States. So what it takes is aggressive probing, interrogating of this. In other words, some people in the Trump administration, if not Trump, I mean, he's in North Carolina and he's going to be in LA today. We were trying to encourage Chef Andrew, and I guess he is, to say, we want an answer to this. And I just saw now the mayor of Melham, who was on the show before, release more footage. These orbs, he says, are glowing balls of light, and as it gets closer to you, it transforms into a drone. I've watched it myself. Whatever it is, however it's reacting, this is the type of thing that demands up and down the line an answer. So I suggested after Van Drew yesterday, what they ought to do is you take the Joint Chiefs of Staff, for example. If they say they don't know anything about it, okay, write that down when it comes time for Trump's ready to put in a new head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. In other words, if you don't know, you're incompetent. If you don't even have a theory based upon the special knowledge people inside the U.S. government would have. But here we are, days even into the Trump administration. We're consumed. I get it. Because yesterday he announced, I think it's 15 days they come back to him, and in 45 days they have a plan to release the JFK file, the MLK file, and the RFK Jr. file. Okay. I'm all on board with that. I guess there's going to be some revelations in there of some sort or another. Kennedy's the main one. But we still don't know what's going on with the drones. And it's probably one or two possibilities. One, Van Drew said it yesterday, it's our government testing out something that's super secret or around that, or it's somebody who is meaning us no good, possible enemy, adversary, whatever they might be. People still having kicks with this. And we don't know even which one of it is, let alone everything involved with this. So I realize you could argue there's big picture stuff out there. But it's got to be the friend of ours, Sergio Gore, who heads up White House personnel. I should text him and say, come on, Sergio, you got 4,000 people, you said, working in the White House.
Where are the drones?
Can we get one guy on it to give us definitively what's up with the drones? Why is this unknowable? All right, and Van Drew.
Can we get like a real-life Mulder and Scully on it or something?
Yeah. Well, I don't think I always go with, it's not top of mind. And with the generals and others, if they don't know, that's more shocking. If nobody knows, that's even worse than if they know and they're just not saying anything. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I mean, it should be looked into at least, right? And to think that there could be a national security threat. You heard Van Drew come on before and explain, what if it is Iran, or what if it is China or an advert?
Exactly.
We should at least find out what the heck's going on in our skies.
And I think people were taken aback. The one guy who called because Van Drew did say, well, that's if they'll tell the president.
Yeah.
And do I think that's possible? Yeah, sadly it is. That's why Trump should have a point person on this, find out, and give him a deadline. By the weekend, I want to know what the best guess is on the drones. Well, these guys say they know nothing. Good. Let's go down the line. You're out. Let's go down the line to the next guy. Here is the mayor of Melham. Now, this guy was in New York when he talked about this. We got him on immediately. It was international news. This is today, though, what he's saying about the drones.
I've recently been watching and spent some time with the videographer out of Long Island. I mean, he has orbs, these glowing orbs of light on camera that as you watch them right before your eyes, they seem to transform into a mechanical drone. So I've actually watched it myself where these orbs are glowing balls of light, different blinking lights all over the place. And as it gets closer to you, you actually see it transform into a drone. Whether it's a drone from the beginning and it's being obstructed by bright light, I can't tell you, but it is cause for concern. We have looked at flight tracker data. We don't see any airplanes in the skies. These things are absolutely some kind of phenomenon that's happening just over our home. homes. We need answers, and we need them quickly.
Yeah, and that's so important to note that, you are looking at flight tracker data and not seeing records of this. So, Mayor, are you confident that we will start to get some definitive answers, whatever those answers may be?
I believe we're going to get answers. Calls for speculation as to whether they're going to be definitive answers or not. Yeah. I do take the president at his word. I do think that we are going to get some kind of disclosure. I've listened to government speak. I've listened to our state, New Jersey, speak. I've listened to the federal government speak, and they've been very specific at times. They've said things like, it's not our DOD, it's not our Homeland Security. And I've learned, in being in this business for a while, that when government speaks very specifically, listen to what they're not saying. So when they say it's not DOD and it's not Homeland Security, they're not saying it's not a private contractor. They're not saying a lot of different things there. So they're giving themselves some plausible deniability when they say things specifically like that. However, I'm still fairly sure that this is probably going to be our government assets, as the president said when he was president-elect, and even now. If it was a foreign adversary, I'm almost certain with $1 trillion military budget, we'd be able to take these things out of the sky. The fact they're not coming out of the sky and we keep seeing them, I truly believe that we will find out, whether it's sooner or later, that it is probably some kind of government asset.
I would agree with that. It's a government asset. All right. More likely than not. Okay. So the bottom line is, and here's a question for you, 855-839-1210. What is it as a citizen you think they should have to tell us about it? And what I think they should have to tell us about it is, yes, this is a government if it is, but I'm going on that. But it's hypersensitive. We want to protect against all enemies near and far, etc. And then the president ought to say, after they brief him, he's aware of this. He's aware of what's going on here. It is secretive. That's needed for whatever they're doing. And you've elected me, and I take this very seriously, to be as transparent as possible. And when the time is right, I will be. But for now, I'm telling you, there's nothing to worry about. This is a government process.
All right, so
just say that or say it's not. Yes.
My counter to be that would be, if it is a government process, there's been a lot of reports around, it's seeming non-human in the sense of the movement, of how fast it's moving. Well, if it is indeed moving that fast, as people are saying, and it is a government asset, that would lead you to believe that they have some type of technology, anti-gravity type technology, that has never been discussed in the history, here, besides coming from, UFOs and aliens and such. So would disclosing such information that the U.S. military now has access to anti-gravity technology cause such a stir in the public that, it could be a big deal?
They don't have to say that.
Yeah, they wouldn't release that.
No, all they have to do is say, this is super secret. I'm aware of it as president. You elected me. I'm on it, but I can tell you this is the U.S. government. Yeah. We have a right to know that.
Well, let me ask you one more thing.
Yeah.
Now, on a more realistic question. Say our military has the capability to evade radar, unlike anybody has seen before. And what they're testing now are drones with that capability. Because you hear it's not able to be picked up on radar.
Right.
Wouldn't it be more benefit to the military for our adversaries to not know that we have the ability to evade their radar? Because once they know to be on the lookout for it, right?
Well, I think it's beneficial to know that we can evade or make them think we can evade their radar. That makes them really troubled into thinking,
there.
How are we going to defend against something that can evade our radar?
If they know, then they're going to start developing something that can detect the undetectable.
Well, they're always trying to do that. They're always trying to figure out something that would do that, but it's the same reason they have, what is the plane? The plane that is undetectable at a certain point. The
stealth bomber?
Yes. And that puts the fear of God in them. As long as you don't go too far that it's absolutely undetectable, then they may think they have to do something because they're afraid of what could happen to them. So I'm perfectly fine. I just think, though, by this point in time, if Trump is about transparency, I would believe he doesn't know at this point in time. That ought to shock people. It's located in one area pretty much, to the mayor's point, garden variety. Just check the box and say what it is.
It's a need-to-know basis. Look, our government, because we spend, hundreds and hundreds of billions on military defense and research. Our military tends to have technology that's 15, 20 years ahead of where the things out in the public right now. So it wouldn't surprise me at all that this is one of their projects. They don't want to talk about it because, they don't want to tip off
They don't
China
have to.
or anybody.
Just tell us it's theirs.
Yeah, if you just say it's theirs, that's fine. But I don't know if you can make a whole thing about it because then everyone else will look into it. So I understand not wanting to be in the dark, but for like national security's sake, I get kind of keeping it on the DL. But for the life of me, this whole situation, if what I'm saying is some sort of truth, why are they doing it over the most densely populated state?
Well,
Why not do this in New Mexico or Nevada?
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
That's a very strange type of thing. That's why maybe it's not. To do it there just is not logical at all. All right, so what do they owe us here? And look at all the pressure points. Look at all those people in Jersey, Vandrew and others pressuring. The media, though, has moved away from this story. They're not talking about it as much anymore, and it's still ongoing. And Trump has been very busy, but you would think a 10-minute conference with somebody telling him what they know, or his people, whoever his chief person is on something like this, brief them, let him then brief the president and say, hey, this logic, well, it's not anything adversarial, otherwise they would have done it. I'm not buying that. It's annoying that people are living under this in Jersey, and there is no answer given. I'm not on the side that says, well, you don't need to know. You need to know in general terms. What does the government say, this government under Trump? And if these people don't know, how is that possible? This is one of the mysteries that we've seen play out so publicly, almost second to none. And Henry's right. I mean, why over a populated area? Why not out? We hear all that stuff in the desert and everything. Okay, this is over the most populated area, arguably densely in the country. Here's how you get in, 855-839-1210. Let's go to Joe in Columbus, New Jersey. Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Joe.
Hey, good afternoon, Dom.
Afternoon.
Hey, Dom, wasn't half of Reagan's Star War premise predicated upon fear and the creativity of it?
Yeah.
At least throwing half of the potential of it out there. I still don't know what Star Wars is. We thought it was a laser beam back in the 80s that was going to blow any adversarial rocket out of the sky. I think half of it, more than half of it, was predicated upon don't mess with us because you'll never be able to overcome us. We got you.
So, but how does that apply to the drone, Joe? Shouldn't we be told it's ours now, rest easy?
If you leave enough to the imagination, people may come up with that. If you know what I mean. If you're left guessing, you think of multifaceted. It could be this, it could be that. It could be our. And I would fly them over heavily populated areas if that was the case. So you get more publicity, as in addition to the outrage and the fear.
So, Joe, you're saying we don't have a right to know. I'm kind of surprised.
No. We do. I want to know what they are at this point.
Okay.
I want to know if throw half the Reagan stuff out there. Half of this, it's our technology, and you will love it if Trump says it that way.
Yeah, that's what he will say. It's beautiful. Yeah, that's what he could say. Exactly.
Yes. At that point, our adversaries leave it to their imagination on what we could do with it.
Yeah, that's all you need to know. Exactly. What's your film, Joe?
My film is, and Gary from Newtown, he kind of triggered me in a way. I'm sorry to say this, but he's the typical Philadelphia fan. You guys want your cake and you want to eat it too. You want to win your bet against the Eagles, but you also want the Eagles to win.
Exactly. All right, Joe, wait a minute. Who are you rooting for on Sunday, Joe?
Dom, no lie. I'm going with the Eagles because there's too many Eagle fans in my household. I have to. I don't want to see my kids heartbroken. Not that I'm a helicopter father, but I don't want to.
I got you, Joe. Got you. Philadelphia is your film. More coming up on Talk Radio 1210.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we give our students credit where credit is due. Credit for deciding in the middle of rush hour traffic to go back and get their bachelor's and a promotion. Credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. And credit for serving in the military by day so they can study cybersecurity at night. For over 75 years, we've been helping students receive the credit they deserve. With more than 135 degrees and certificates, Students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. At UMGC, you'll find everything, online to hybrid courses, lifetime career services to scholarship opportunities, making your education journey flexible, fast, and affordable. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start February 12th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Take charge of your finances in 2025 by saving more and spending with purpose. First Harvest Credit Union is here to help empower your financial goals. Open our growth checking account and earn as high as 2% annual percentage yield, while earning more and enjoying flexible access to funds. Visit firstharvestcu.com/growth checking or your nearest branch to open your account or to get details. First Harvest Credit Union, serving the Delaware Valley for 85 years. Membership restrictions apply. Insured by NCUA.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
The city gears up to host the Eagles NFC Championship game on Sunday. Police are searching for two men they say used a minivan to rip an ATM out of a Chinese restaurant in Huntington Park. A Jersey mayor says he's outraged after immigration agents raided a seafood business in Newark without a warrant.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Miss any of the Dom Giordano program? Download and follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app.
All right, this is time you want to get set up. If you're not watching the station's YouTube channel, go there right now. We're going to put up some footage as we talk with Mayor Michael Melham, who we talked with before when he made news around the drones. It seems like it was 100 years ago, and yet it's still ongoing. You heard the description that I saw up on Twitter from an interview. Let's go to the mayor here on Talk Radio 1210. Mayor, welcome back. Seems like 20 years of time has passed since we last talked. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, Mayor, we see this. Was this an interview in New York again, same place that you were before?
This interview, I believe the one that you're speaking about was probably News Nation. I'm not quite sure where they were out of. I was videoing remotely.
Okay, so you are videoing this, Mayor. How would you describe this to listeners? Does it seem like something you've never seen before?
Oh, so I apologize. I thought you were talking about the actual interview that I was doing. So the video that you're referring to is actually a video that I received from somebody in Long Island.
Okay.
They're on the water there in Long Island. They see this every single night. This was not a one-time occurrence. They see this every single night, dozens and dozens, probably at times north of 100 drones hovering over that area, appear to be coming from, according to the videographer, from New Jersey, but definitely going out over the water.
So, Mayor, it's amazing to me, and we had Jeff Andrew on yesterday, who personally speaks with the president, and I asked him about this. Trump's busy being briefed on the drones. Is it ours or not? And he said, well, maybe they would tell him. This is the lack of faith we have in government. What is it that you think you have a right to know as a public official and that the public has a right to know about all this stuff?
I mean, we're pushing for disclosure. We're 500 mayors strong here in New Jersey, and we're the closest elected officials to the ground, whereby residents, they get a hold of us. They see me in the streets. They see me in town hall all day. They want answers from me and my office because I'm the closest one they can get to. So the fact that our governor here in New Jersey has failed us as far as getting us any kind of answers, and up until the time that Trump took office, we were being failed by the Biden administration. We were promised by the Biden administration that we would get to the bottom of it. That never happened. Now we have a promise from President Trump, and I do take him at his word. He is on the record at least in 3 different occasions that he's going to give us disclosure. I know that his chief of staff has actually started that ball rolling, and I believe we're 14 or 15 days away from the various agencies telling the president what's going on. Again, this is government talking to government and then giving the information to the people. Forgive me if I'm a little hesitant, if I don't trust necessarily that we're going to get all the disclosure, but it's got to start somewhere. I hope it starts soon.
Let's go back on that. All right. So you probably know this, Mayor, but for listeners, we have people that have spoken they've worked with her, with Wiles, the chief of staff, very much task-oriented, extraordinarily. But then why would it take us that long to get an answer on this? And you seem to be willing to give them the time. I get it that Trump legitimately wants to do this, but that's way too long. I mean, somebody's got to have a pretty good guess about this.
I agree with you. I mean, the first time Trump was spoken to about that, his initial responses were, oh, our government knows, the president knows. I'm not sure why they're not telling you. Then the second time he was asked about it, he was like, the drones, huh? And they were like, no, the drones in New Jersey. He's like, yeah, they're happening all over. You know, it's odd. It's very odd. Then the third time, as he was signing executive orders, he looked to his chief of staff and said, let's get the answers. Supposedly the way it works, I guess the wheels of government turn slowly, but the way it works is that the federal agencies that he tasked to get him those answers have, I think it's 14 or 15 days. The one thing I will tell you, though, is that the president-elect receives the same exact intelligence briefing that our president does. So the fact that he told us the first time, well, our government knows what they are, and the fact the second and third time, it didn't seem like it was high on his priority scale to get the answers or to tell us what was going on, probably tells me it's not a matter of national security, and they're probably weaving their way through, DOD and Homeland Security, who have all come out and tripping over themselves to say it's not them. But anytime government is very specific, it is not the DOD, it is not Homeland Security. Listen to what they're not saying.
Exactly.
And they're not saying it's not us, it's not our government contractors. They're giving themselves plausible deniability. I hope they don't do an end run around the president of the United States. I do think that he's going to get his answer because he's got a residence here in New Jersey. And the first time he was asked about this, not only did he say the government knows and the president knows, he also ended that quote with, I'm not coming to New Jersey this weekend. And that was concerning to a lot of our residents here in New Jersey.
Yeah, well, without a doubt. All right, we have this up on YouTube, Dan. Where do people go again?
YouTube.com/@12WPHT. We show the first video that the mayor released prior to this one. Now we're showing the purple kind of hued video, the second one. And what we see here is an orb turning into a drone live on film. And I appreciate you sharing that video, Mayor.
Mayor, I think you're being very balanced here. Maybe I'm not as much. After all this period of time, these artificial 2 weeks on this, somebody knows or they don't. Could you believe that they wouldn't know? That is almost unforgivable if they don't have a pretty good guess about what's been happening here.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I was doing that speculator a couple of weeks ago, and I dared use the words, sniffing for something potentially radioactive, and everybody went crazy on me for saying that. I was told it was preposterous. The White House actually issued a statement. House Intelligence Committee, they had a classified briefing and came right out and spoke against what I said about scanning or sniffing. Yet, here's the interesting part. On Friday, I was watching ABC News, and they had a reporter in a helicopter over Washington, D.C., preparing. It was a story on security ahead of the inauguration.
Yep.
And the reporter says, I'm 150 feet, and I've shared this video on my Twitter account. The reporter says we're 150 feet in the air in a helicopter, flying in a grid-like format, scanning for radiologic or nuclear material. I mean, that's literally what was said. So don't tell me we don't have that capability. So why are they slow walking this? Listen, once we know the answer, I might feel differently, but again, potentially they know of something, potentially they're looking for it, and they don't want our foreign adversaries to know that we have the ability to scan it or that we know what's on the loose or we know what's making its way around. Again, the shocking part about this is, especially during the Biden administration, don't tell me there's nothing to see here. The fact that they didn't even have a cover story in place.
Right.
I mean, I'm at the point where lie to me and tell me it's a training exercise. Don't tell me I'm nuts. Just don't tell me I'm nuts or I'm seeing things. Lie to me and tell me it's a training exercise.
We said this to you last time. Can't you relocate and become a mayor of a town around here? You're a little too far away to have you on every day. But if you were within 20 miles of us, we give you every day. What's your Twitter account, Mayor? Where can we find it?
It's my name, Michael Melham, Melham like Michael Melham.
Mayor, thank you, and keep us in the loop. If there's anything that piques your curiosity, let Dan know, and we'll talk again.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor. Michael Melham here on Talk Radio 1210. All right, there's the latest. And again, it's not an element of surprise. Just say, hey, it's ours. Nothing to worry about here. Trump can even go on, I had to pry this out of government. That's what we're going to do. Susie Wiles on it. These artificial things, we get this all the time, though. Oh, I'll have an answer in 2 weeks. to 15 days. Why? I mean, some group of agencies of government know something about this, at least their best guess on this. Well, we'll start the clock based upon what the mayor said and what they're doing. 2 weeks from today, I have a lot of doubts. We heard this stuff before. Jeff Van Drew, nobody's more plugged in, and yet that's the answer he gets. And I couldn't tell if the guy called me yesterday thinks, wow, that's shocking that they wouldn't tell the president. Or, of course, they wouldn't tell something about government. This breeds bad faith in government again. This mayor, though, and the mayors in these towns, they're right there. People are still upset over this. And they're right to be upset. The governor's not. The media is not. You know, if they can say, well, Trump didn't get an answer on this in 2 weeks, then they'll be all over it. They'll like that part. So I'm surprised that Trump would accept that. And he doesn't say, look, I need an answer. I'm going to give you 24 hours. That's being generous. Who knows what here? Who's his point person? Just tell us think of the obvious departments. And what have they done? Now, I realize they don't have Pete Hegseth in there at defense or whatever. They have acting, but still, we need to know more. 855-839-1210. You get on board. Let's get some more films in, too. Give us that. Oh, Robert, say it's not so. Come on now. His overrated film.
That's a direct shot towards you, I feel.
I don't think it's not the greatest film ever.
Oh, I thought you were a big fan of it.
Yeah, and I can't stand Mia Farrow. Oh, my God. I just can't even stand the look. How Frank Sinatra would marry Mia Farrow. It's just implausible to me. There's just no rational reason. I won't give the film.
Ooh.
Woody Allen and Mia Farrow? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Conspiracy, I believe, from yesterday.
Yeah.
Ronan Farrow is the child of...
Oh, that's it. That's right. Yeah, of Sinatra. Yeah, that's a leftover from that. All right. And, we have a mechanism now, too, to check this. With Rotten Tomatoes, you can see the audience score, the critic score. So we know if you're right that it's widely overrated and the points you're making about it. Jerry in Wilmington is stealing from Seinfeld with his, but that's okay. Might be a good angle of attack. 855-839-1210, AT&T and Verizon Wireless. All you have to do is just push pound 1210. By the way, I brought on Bruce Castor. Love Bruce Castor. Joe emails me, aha, you were wrong about the some of the people. They all should have been pardoned. Notice, Joe, and everybody else in the J6. Bruce said, and I've said, their sentence was commuted. What does that tell you? Well, Trump knows they did the wrong things. They're not deserving of a pardon. That's what it tells you. That's what it tells me in the case of 14 of them. And that's the point I've been making. I don't even know about commuting in some instances. I still stand on that. And Bruce Castor is as good as it gets. We just differ a little bit around this. I agree with him, though. He laid out how bad it was with a lot of these defendants. They're going to sue, and they should win, the ones that he's talking about. Hey, I have a question for all empty nesters or soon-to-be empty nesters out there. Are you wondering if this is your year to downsize, or maybe you want to know the latest trends in the real estate market, how they'll impact how fast your home will sell? Maybe you want to know how the new administration's policies will affect the value of your home with the decrease in regulations and cutting of taxes. That's a lot to be thinking about. Well, we're going to process that together. My great friend Diane Giordano from Giordano Realtors will answer all these questions for you at our next breakfast event for future home sellers. It's Saturday morning, February 1st. That's a week from tomorrow at the Hilton Garden Inn in Fort Washington. Diane will unlock the secrets to outshine the competition, boost your bottom line, take control of your equity, and sell fast, smarter, and for more. I'll be there that morning around 8:15 or so, and breakfast, I think, is at 8:30. It's always a great time to meet all of you and get Diane's advice. Plus, she'll be signing copies of her new book, Model Home Mindset. Just RSVP now. Call her at 215-576-8666. It's free. Or you can register online, again, completely free, 215-576-8666.com.
It's time to get focused on improving the lives of our beloved pets by feeding them the most nutritious pet food on the planet. With 2 decades of experience, the Dogs and Cats Rules stores can guide you in the right direction to meet your pet's needs. Fads come and go, but there's no substitute for premium meat-inclusive food for your pets. If you changed your pet's food lately and they're starting to look like a shaggy dog, smelly ears and biting their feet all the time, you need to come into one of our 7 very convenient locations or visit dogsandcatsrule.pet.
The new 2025 Harley-Davidsons have arrived at Barb's Harley-Davidson. Barb's is Philly's closest and New Jersey's #1 dealer, and they want to be your Harley-Davidson dealer too. Be there Saturday for the new model reveal party, only at Barb's. Check us out at barbshd.com.
This is Dr. Marianne Ritchie. Tune in to Your Radio Doctor every Saturday afternoon at 5 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT for the latest healthcare news and information, because your health is your wealth. That's Your Radio Doctor, Saturdays at 5.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
As America's first superhighway, the PA Turnpike has driven innovation by drilling tunnels through mountains, building bridges over valleys, and expanding lanes for 500,000 customers daily. Today, the PA Turnpike is driven to make your trip easier than ever. Open road tolling eliminates the stop and go of traditional tolling, increases safety, and reduces environmental impact. Plus, have even more confidence that you'll arrive on time. Visit paturnpike.com/ORT.
As a business owner, you wear a lot of hats. One minute you're ordering today's inventory, and the next you're planning tomorrow's expansion. It's complicated, but your business credit card should be simple. With the Signify Business Cash Card by Wells Fargo, you earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases for your business, with no caps or categories to track. Signify Business Cash, the deliberately simple business credit card. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/signify. Terms apply.
This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you ready for retirement? Have you prepared everything you need? Well, in Investor Schooling, we will teach you ways to better prepare for your retirement using real estate and the stock market. But you need to learn how to do it right, and that's what we teach. At Investor Schooling, we sell nothing but education. Come to Investor Schooling and learn how to have a better retirement. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now for this Thursday's class at 7 o'clock. Go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of hearing about the recession that's coming? Are you prepared for it? Well, listen, at investorschooling.com, we're going to teach you ways to prepare for the recession that you didn't even know existed. We're going to teach you strategies on how to use real estate. We're going to teach you strategies how to use the stock market properly. That's right, you could even make money in the stock market when the stock market goes down. Hey, go to investorschooling.com and register for a free class this Thursday night, and you will learn all of these techniques. Go to investorschooling.com right now, RSVP for this Thursday. We'll see you there.
If better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today. You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
Is your kitchen or bathroom in need of a makeover?
It's time to transform your home into a personal oasis with Emmons Remodeling.
Our expert team specializes in kitchen and bathroom renovations, creating beautiful, functional spaces you and your family will love. We handle everything from design to installation.
So call us today at 856-885-6677 or visit callemmons.com. From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Auto Group studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
All right, Dom Giordano's show. Before I come to your calls, I have marked this down to ask at a certain point. I think Jesse Waters maybe is a little bit out of touch. He went after Kamala Harris and the second gentleman who were shopping, food shopping, which seemed to be a little bit, I would have been following that to see what they knew. He had khakis on, by the way, the second gentleman. I noticed that right away. Bad look right away. And Waters says, what kind of guy is the second gentleman who goes food shopping with their wife? What, are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's a weird question.
Yeah, I think Jesse Waters doesn't know shopping, hasn't shopped in the last 5 years that he's been at Fox, and probably sends somebody out or does Instacart or has somebody do that. Of course you shop.
Grocery shopping with Dougie Fresh. What kind of husband goes grocery shopping with his wife?
Yes. What's wrong with that? Yeah, guys out there, you want to tell Dan and me that there's something wrong with that?
I don't think Jesse Waters knows how to cook, and that might be the problem here.
Yeah.
Yeah, personal chef.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's too much hair gel there.
I don't think he's a personal chef, to be honest with you. I think he's.
No, his wife
not to
probably
that
does
level.
everything.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think it's probably the wife.
Yeah. I mean, it's a normal thing.
Look there, Jesse. Yeah.
Now, I used to do, as we know, the shopping by myself. Then COVID hit, and for some reason, Roe got into it then. I don't know how. And now I'm saddled with this.
Yeah.
Forever.
Or maybe he's just like me, and it's been so long that either of us had to step inside of a grocery store because of the great nature of pickup groceries.
Oh, yeah. Why don't you? They ought to have you as Mr.
You know, one of us order it online,
Yeah.
the other goes to the store and sits in a parking space, presses it in the app, and they come out with all our groceries. It's fantastic.
Oh, God. Takes two people to do the role of one. So, yeah, I hope they give you a spot. We get a sponsor that lets you do that. Then I'll attack it the next half hour. It's in my contract. Yeah.
Do you only go grocery shopping, though, when you've been assigned a dish to cook in the week?
No, we go every week at a certain time.
Yeah.
Yeah, after church on Saturday, we go. So, yeah, it's... Well, Roe tries
trip to the grocery
Roe
store.
tries to get out of it. I know exactly what's going to happen the next day. All the stuff that I want will not be there for breakfast, etc. So, no, we got to go on Saturday. Got to do it. I don't understand the people, Dan, who can shop every 2 weeks. That, to me, seems preposterous, really.
How often do you shop? Every week?
Every week.
Yeah, I think that's what we do, too.
Yeah, I know it's annoying that you got to shop every week, but if you don't, Henry, how about you? Can you shop every 2 weeks?
It's a weekly thing, but no, I could go 2 weeks. I mean, if you're trying to stretch a budget, I mean, I completely get it.
How do you do any kind of produce?
Exactly. We got an avocado sitting at home on a kitchen table. I'm not sure if it's ripe or not. You know, that's something to put up on YouTube. A bunch of avocados, and people could tell us which one would they eat at this point.
Yeah, you have avocado toast week 1, and then by week 2, you're having iced soup for dinner.
You can't tell by looking at an avocado. You got to touch
feel it. I know.
Feel the squishiness.
But
they're like rocks.
I would eat it. I love it. Health-wise, it's great. But I can't put up with figuring out when it's ready to be eaten. Okay.
Too much stress.
Yeah, if you shop with
I don't
your
want my
wife,
fruit to be stressful, all right?
I mean, it's you can attack the second gentleman for the khaki look, which I don't like. And you can attack them. They were shopping in Westwood, California. And they had plastic bags that they were putting stuff in. And they only shopped. She had 2 plastic bags. He had 2 when he went out. How's that food shopping? It was a mysterious kind of thing.
Definitely for show, then.
Yeah, it was for show.
Yeah, massaging the produce and things like that.
Yeah, but I'm not going to pick on the fact that the husband's shopping with her. That's normal. That's not abnormal at all.
The plastic bags, you see those?
Yeah, the plastic bags in California. Yeah. I thought that was banned years ago.
Bad look there, Kamala.
Yeah, exactly.
You see I wore khakis today?
I did see that. I noticed when you went by.
They look good, right?
Yeah, they're not the ones I'm thinking of that are kind of blousy. They're not at all.
Yeah, it looks, yeah.
They're pretty
you
good,
can make them look decent.
Oh, God. I plan to wear them at Mulligan's the first time just for a
Shorts are actually like full khakis.
Full khakis. After 15 minutes, I'll take them off.
I think it was like 80-20% said they are not a fashion faux pas.
I know. Fashion laziness. Let's go to where are the ladies?
These are my lazy pants. You called me out on that.
Where are the ladies in Oregon today? And do we still believe they're actual ladies? We're going along with this, but there's doubt creeping in.
I think they are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go to Robert
I
and
wanna
Ben.
believe.
Let's go to Robert and Ben Salem. Hey, Robert. Afternoon.
Hey, Dom, Dan, it's good to talk to you guys today. Real quick, though, I really still believe them drones had something to do with that missing uranium that went missing up by that depot in northern Jersey. But we'll see, right? My answer to the side question is going to be Rosemary's Baby. And I heard your reaction to that, Dom, and I guess I understand it. But what you need to understand is I saw The Exorcist and The Omen before I saw Rosemary's Baby. So Rosemary's Baby just seemed like a huge bore to me. Oh, wow, a little baby with some horns on its head. Everybody screams and the movie's over.
Yeah,
that was boring.
I got you. Well, now, which is a more intense scene? The fight in the kitchen floor of The Omen or the priest saying, "Come into me," and jumping out of the window?
You're always going to get The Exorcist answer from me because that movie scared the hell out of me.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with Rosemary's Baby. Great show, and have a great weekend, you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Robert. I don't know that it's rated. I guess maybe some critics rated it higher. Maybe that's why, it's meant to be fanciful. You got to buy into the devil's coming here.
Yeah, it's not like a typical jump scare.
No,
type
not
of
at
movie.
all.
It's
different. And when she catches herself eating the meat in the mirror and all that, but the people that play the Castavets are great in that role. They're very, very effective, particularly the husband. The eyes.
Oh yeah.
Are you just can't match it. Yeah, I could go and watch it right now. It's just how in the world did Mia Farrow? There's nothing really remarkable about her other than annoyance. 855-839-1210. That will get you a line. Let's go to, I don't know about this. Drones since 2021? I'll think about that one. Andy in South Jersey. Hey, Andy. Afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Dom. Great show, as always. Two things. I stopped wearing khakis in 1981 when I left Wildwood Catholic High School.
Yes, good guy. So that's 44 years ago. No khaki wearing. Yes.
No khakis. I promise you that. The second thing, Dom, regarding the drones, and you can check this. Everyone can. If you get the Bible, okay, the King James Version, go to the book of Ezekiel. First couple of chapters talks about what we're seeing in the sky. Thousands of years ago, it's documented. It tells you exactly what we're seeing right now. And I'll leave you with this. We are in what's called the generation of the fig tree. You may have heard it before. It's in 1948, when Israel became a state. Two figs, good and bad. And if you look at all the prophecies, if you will, in the Bible, we're seeing it right now. I mean, it's like, tomorrow's headlines, everything that's happening. So that book will really give you a detail. So check it out if you can. Like I said, it'll explain what we're seeing. That's just my humble opinion, but it's everything that we're seeing is what's documented.
All right. Thank you, Andy. Thanks very much. All I want is an answer. And I'm kind of stunned that President Trump, of all people, wouldn't say, bring those generals in here right now. I got 5 minutes. All right, tell me, what is this? Is it ours? Well, sir, that's on a need-to-know basis. Next, you're out. That's what Jeff Van Drew was saying yesterday. Well, maybe they think they wouldn't answer to the president. It's top secret. Yet we're unveiling the JFK, MLK, and Robert Kennedy Jr. files. Stunning. All right, more calls. 855-839-1210. 2 o'clock, Mark Hal with the president pardoning these 21, 22 pro-life demonstrators who were just brutalized by the Biden administration. Mark Hal will break it down. He probably is in that loop and what it's like to go through this in his civil suit. Dom's Money Melody, we have too. All that straight ahead on Talk Radio 1210.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
My daughters come down, and I said, hey, girls, what do you think about doing like a family TikTok? So they open up the TikTok app on their phone, and it says, sorry, no longer in service. Americans can't use it. I go, oh, my God, they did take TikTok away. And they're like, oh, my God, we forgot. 90 minutes later, I said, girls, come down here. I said, open up your TikTok app. It started working. It was like Christmas morning all over. Oh, for God's sake. I said, you can thank Mr. Trump for that.
Awesome job.
And then I dunked on my mother-in-law on FaceTime. I said, how about that's how you get things done?
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Hi, it's John Ashell, the car czar from Colonial Hyundai. I'm excited to announce that our new home is complete, and it's built just for you. Built for savings, built for service. Our state-of-the-art dealership is designed to make buying, leasing, or servicing your vehicle faster, easier, and better than ever. Right now, it's effortless to buy, trade, or upgrade at Colonial Hyundai. Colonial continues to be recognized for awarding the highest trade-in values in the region. I'll give you $6,500 for your trade, guaranteed, no matter the condition. We have over 200 vehicles in stock. Tucson's, Santa Fe's, Palisades, and Konas. For this month only, drive home a new Hyundai Elantra SEL Sport for just $119 per month. Every new Hyundai comes with 3-year complimentary maintenance and America's Best Warranty, a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain, and Hyundai Assurance. Shop us online 24/7 at colonialhyundai.com. Colonial Hyundai, the faster, easier, better way to buy a Hyundai.
2025 Elantra SEL Sport. 12,000 miles a year for 24 months. $5,999 down plus first month's payment, tax, motor vehicle fees, and dock fee. In stock vehicles only. Offers cannot be combined. See dealer for full details. Offer expires February 3rd, 2025.
Drive off in your dream car with an auto loan from American Heritage Credit Union. We're proud to offer low rates and flexible terms to ensure you're getting the vehicle you truly want. Lock in with low monthly payments and terms up to 84 months. Or if your lease is nearing its end, consider a lease buyout to stick with your reliable vehicle. To learn more, visit AmericanHeritageCU.org/auto. Insured by NCUA. Not a member? Join today. Equal Opportunity Lender.
Let King Shooter Supply in King of Prussia help protect you and your family. King Shooter Supply has over 200 years of combined firearms experience to help you get what you need to protect what you love. They gladly welcome beginners into their family of competitive shooters, recreational shooters, law enforcement professionals, and hunters. They'll guide you through the nuances of finding the right firearm, ammunition, and accessories that you need for self-defense. Visit them at 346 East Church Road in King of Prussia. Visit them on Facebook or at kingshooters.com.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guaranteed details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it. Did you know that 1 in 4 people seeking treatment for ED are under 40? So you're not alone. And even better, Hims can help. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. It all starts with an online intake form. From there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. Through hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Hey, Percy, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Remember to take us anywhere with the free Odyssey app.
All right, we know about President Trump, and when I read the executive orders and some of the actions that he's taken, he is really, I'm not saying killed off DEI. It's going to take more than that, but he has made a master stroke here in the first few days. Listen to this stat. The Biden Education Department has spent more than $1 billion on DEI grants since 2021. Here's a headliner. Examples in the reports on this include a $3,974,496 grant given to the School District of Philadelphia for a restorative justice program headed by a former Communist Party USA member. Yeah, that's what you want to see. Almost $4 million out there. Get the commie in there, restorative justice, $1 billion in DEI programming. Let me go to Simon in Chester Springs, Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Simon, afternoon.
Hey, Dom, how are you?
Good.
You know I'm calling you, right? Because I just want to keep Dom's program great. Hey, I have three scoops for you.
Okay.
One, and I'll give you a synopsis, and you tell me what you want to talk about. One is you talked about the January 6th pardons.
Yes.
And I was there. I was there on January 6th, and I observed something that was kind of strange. I mean, it's not exactly a scoop. Others did as well, but I can share it with you.
Okay.
And the next one is about, actually, you didn't talk about it, but this is the Israeli-Arab or Israeli so-called Palestinian conflict, and we talked about that before. And this is in regards to this Steve Witkoff deal.
Yeah. But tell me about the January 6th time, and what do you want to share about that?
Let me give you the third one, and then you can decide, right? The third one is it's more personal, and it's no news media in the Philadelphia area wanted to pick it up because they're afraid. But I started a new business last year, and we sued Google. We filed a lawsuit against Google, and I think it's really interesting, and you should. And if you want to take it offline and get more information, I'll be more than happy to share with you.
Okay, I'll put you on hold, Simon. Just tell us where we can find a link to it, whatever the suit, and I'll take a look at it. Let me go to Jerry in Wilmington. Hey, Jerry, good afternoon. What do you have today, Jerry?
Oh, you brought back some bad memories, Dom. I was just listening to the show, and I remember it like it was yesterday. It's 1996, 29 years ago. I was on a date, and everyone was talking about the English patient. So we went to see it. Halfway through the movie, I just, oh, man, I got to get out of here. I can't take it anymore. But I was on a date, and it's a 2-hour and 42-minute movie. And I look at my watch. There's 10 minutes left. I'm like, oh, great, almost over. 10 minutes left. And all of a sudden, on the screen starts getting darker and darker, and it was like a flame in the middle of it. And it wasn't digital. It was film. The film burned up. 10 minutes left. The film burned up. We all got up, and they offered us, tickets to come back. I'm not going back. I don't even know if he lived or died in that movie. I swear to God, I don't care. It was about the Sahara and a guy in a cave. I don't know. Maybe you can tell me. Did he live or die? I don't care.
Well, I would have to get Elaine Bennis to tell us, since Seinfeld did almost a half of an episode on the English patient. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I know, really, it was terrible. I couldn't stand it. But I was on a date. What am I going to do? But no, so I didn't go back. I don't know. I didn't Google. I have no idea what happened at the end. Lived, died. I don't care.
Thank you, Jerry. Yeah, the English patient. Elaine had to see it with different groups of people. Couldn't stand it. Everybody else did. That's a good attempt. That's what we're looking for. Oscars yesterday. Give us a film that is at least hot at one point. And you instantly saw through that. You didn't go along with everyone else and say, come on out. It's just trendy. It's not that good. All right, Mark Hal is next. I don't know. Last time we talked with him, somebody said a film of what happened to him. If you remember, he had an incident at the abortion clinic over here on Pine Street with a guy who may have gotten in the face of his son, who he brought with him. And everything ended. Even Krasner did not prosecute him. But somehow or another, under this FACE Act, because it happened with an abortion clinic, suddenly on a Sunday morning, all kinds of people, SWAT teams, heavily armed, state police showed up at his house, 7 a.m., I think it was, on a Sunday morning with 7 kids in the house. He's suing, but we wanted to talk with him as he sees the pardon of these people who essentially were praying inside abortion clinics, most of them, as far as I can tell, and yet we're in pretty harsh prison conditions, pretty solid prison length of time, because the Biden administration, headed by the second Irish Catholic president, was merciless in protecting abortion. And the real villains here are the bishops. Did they say anything as these people were released? Or were they too busy protecting illegal aliens? 855-839-1210. We'll get with Mark Hal and your calls next on Talk Radio 1210.
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
The good and bad with home improvement projects. The good, you save $1 or $2. The bad.
Kevin, there's no hot water.
So you move on to the car.
Kevin, what's with the car?
Good news, you can recover from these.
Kevin!
Well, most all of them. But when it comes to your retirement, a mistake can be devastating. Call Joe Yakovich at JML Financial Group. He's been helping folks prepare for retirement for over 30 years. That's why he's able to correct your do-it-yourself problems before they're problems. Get your complimentary assessment of where you are now and look at some of the retirement boxes you haven't even thought of.
Kevin!
You can't YouTube your retirement. Call Joe Yakovich at 856-925-6674 or visit jmlfinancialgroup.com. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company.
Valentine's Day is almost here, and if you're still dragging your feet, here's my advice. Get to Family & Company Jewelers, and you're guaranteed to walk out with a gift that will last forever. They have a huge selection of 24-karat, gold-dipped roses in pretty much any color you can imagine. The perfect Valentine's Day gift is right on Route 70 in Marlton, New Jersey at Family & Company Jewelers.
Family & Company Jewelers, South Jersey's diamond destination.
So, you get in your car and head to work and the check engine light comes on. What do you do? One thing you shouldn't do is wait to get it checked out. What you should do is head to your locally owned and operated Meineke, where their trained technicians will diagnose your problem, fix it, and get you safely back on the road. Meineke works on any make, model, or year vehicle and has been doing it right for over 50 years. And Meineke offers same-day service and fix-it-now and pay-over-time payment solutions. Meineke, doing car care right.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
Next, we have a set of pardons for peaceful pro-life protesters who were prosecuted by the Biden administration for exercising their First Amendment rights.
Do you know how many?
I believe it's 23, sir.
23 people were prosecuted. They should not have been prosecuted. Many of them are elderly people. They should not have been prosecuted. This is a great honor to sign this. They'll be very happy. So they're all in prison now.
Some are out of custody.
That was quite a pen that he was working on there. It was like we were chopping wood there with Trump signing the order pardoning these people. Mark Hal didn't go to prison, but did have the potential of that and had his house raided, if you remember, the whole thing that happened there. So who could better speak to? And his was even more minor. The altercation he had with this guy that even Krasner didn't prosecute, and yet the world came down on him. Mark Hal joins us here again on Talk Radio 1210. Mark, welcome in. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you, Dom, always for having me. Good to be back.
Now, Mark, as I understand it, the St. Thomas More, weren't they involved with you also? They were the driving force here to get the pardon.
Yeah, Thomas More was great. I signed that petition as well, but they lobbied President Trump to get this executive order through, and I'm proud to say that our president did the right thing and really showed us how pardon should be used, right? Not like this preemptive type pardoning thing that we saw from the Biden regime.
Yeah, these are righting a wrong. These are when you have a new president with different sensibilities, that this is pretty clear cut. The overkill of this act, and you had even a more minor thing. These people at least were told, stop, as I remember it, stop praying inside, et cetera, you're going to be arrested. You didn't have anything like that. It was an altercation. Even Krasner didn't prosecute. And then suddenly you're the focus of people, armed men coming to your house.
Sure, yeah. Well, look, I'm giving thanks that I was spared with these 23 people were not, as far as from a sentencing perspective. But, yeah, our situation was a little different for sure. Civil disobedience, these folks are mostly engaged in. I wasn't engaged in that. I support that. But, yeah, my situation was just process is the punishment. Let's go after whoever we can, see what sticks against the wall. And we were first up because I had a minor involved, my son, my 12-year-old boy. And, we were first up. And frankly, today I'm giving thanks. Today, actually, Dom, is the day 2 years ago today was the start of my trial. So I'm looking at this and looking at my wife and saying, you know what, we could be in prison and, we're being reunited right now. But, God spared us. And I'm grateful that President Trump is allowing these folks to have that reunion with their family. It's a great day for them. And it's a great day for our country.
Now, Mark, maybe because later on I happened to be driving with my wife and I heard Cardinal Dolan, and I think he was endorsing you on his Sirius show maybe, but I haven't seen the bishop speak out on this today. And again, this is the type of thing where you could make a point. And one of the things they've been deficient in, we had the second Irish Catholic president, someone who was billed by the media because everybody said that, devout Catholic, and yet was an extremist on abortion.
Yeah. Look, when my situation came down, and Cardinal Dolan did support me after my acquittal, but there's only been 4 bishops, and I'll include Cardinal Dolan in that because he's still the only 4th bishop that supported me. So I had the blessing of Cardinal Gerhard Mueller, who flew over from Rome to support me, and only 2 other bishops, local Bishop Joe Coffey, Bishop Joe Coffey here in Philadelphia, auxiliary bishop for the Archdiocese and Military, and Bishop Joseph Strickland, the now defrocked bishop.
Yeah,
exactly. Those are the only ones that supported me, so I'm not surprised. Unfortunately, the pro-life message is one that scares a lot of them, and it's probably because of lawsuits. Sadly, that's the state of our church right now.
Yeah, and again, they don't have to condone breaking of the law, even if it's technical, even if it's civil disobedience. We all realize if you do that, Martin Luther King realized there might be punishment. But
sure.
I don't see them taking on how fanatical this act is. So what's the strategy to rid us of that? You can't do that by executive order, but as long as Trump's in office, the Department of Justice, I don't think, is going to prosecute people unnecessarily unless they're really firebombing, violence, attacking an abortion clinic. And we already have laws for that.
Right. Well, Pam Bondi said the same thing. She said it's going to be applied equally. Now, the reality is this FACE law, this FACE Act should be repealed. Congressman Chip Roy is working to remove that because Clinton put it into law because of the liberal lion Ted Kennedy wanted to come after pro-lifers and protect these institutions that are defending abortion and killing millions of children. So, look, I think what we're going to see is the repeal of this law. But in the short run, the DOJ wants nothing to do with defending the Biden's actions. I have a lawsuit pending, which I'm sure will get settled. They want nothing to do with it. So in the meantime, though, it does need to be applied equally, and I think we got the right people in place with Akash Patel, Pam Bondi, and a president who obviously feels the same way about this law.
How does Mark Hal come down? And this is where you and I not differed on the philosophy or the life belief on this, but the politics of it. I saw DeSantis today speaking at the March for Life, and he talked about no poll can govern me when it comes to protecting life, and that's noble and correct. But if you go into, what I believe, running for president, I think that he has to move away from that or he'll never be elected president. Mark, do you think politically that's what I'm saying is accurate, even if I know you're on the other side of it, but politically, is it right that someone can run for president and have DeSantis' stance?
Well, look, I ran on that. Against Congressman Fitzpatrick, and I lost. So there's credence to some of what you say. However, your principles are your principles, and so what are you if you're not someone who's going to defend those principles? And so I think there's something more important than winning elections. Maybe you say you win the battle or lose the battle but win the war in the end. But for me, I couldn't in good conscience, and I think any person that is that type of person, I think DeSantis would be, he's going to stand on his principles. And so, whether they're unpopular or not, that's called courage. That's called being someone who has the ability to lead others in the midst of a difficult situation. So, whether that's a Lincoln or whether that's a Trump, I don't know. But I believe that there is a place for that in our nation. Obviously, we overturned Roe. So our country is moving in that way. In the next 2 years, who knows? We might have the ability to have a president or a DeSantis run for office. Looks like J.D. Vance is a little bit more in line with that, I would say. And he's primed in 4 years to run on those principles, too.
You raised a great one there. And look, I admire that stance, as you know. I just was told the other day, and I'll throw it past you. Of course, we want to beat Josh Shapiro or at least ding him up so he is not the presidential candidate in 2028 because he is formidable in his own chameleon-like way. And people were telling me, well, Dave White really has crossover appeal running for governor again. Union guys got some money, et cetera. And I said this was off the air, Mark. Yes, but as far as I know, he still says no exceptions on the issue of abortion. In my judgment, particularly against a guy like Shapiro, you have no shot. So I couldn't endorse him politically as much as I think he is a very faithful guy, the story with his son. And he's got a lot that would happen. I just don't think we're there politically, particularly against a Shapiro, that you could beat him.
Yeah, I mean, look, you may be right, and yet we're not going to bring about change unless we start voting into office people with those principles. And so it begins at the local level and builds, and right. So yes, maybe the climate's not right for that, but we need that opportunity. We need to give that pro-life vote. I think Lila Rose was very good at calling out President Trump, and he backed off a little bit from his position that seemed to be in conflict with where he was 4 years ago. So, and even we saw Melania, his own wife, came out to be very pro-abortion, and you wonder, where is that? So, your point is well taken. However, now that he's in office, I would like to see the Mexico City issue be, eradicated again through his executive authority.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he will do that. And I think we'll start to see President Trump realigning with where he was 4 years ago. However, like you, he probably was shrewd in getting himself back into office, and now he's going to do what I think he did 4 years ago. But I think we need to be gentle as a dove, wise as a serpent. We need to do what we can to get in office, and we need to help people get in position to make those good decisions for our country and our state.
How is Vance different for our listeners? I saw Vance speaking today at the event in Washington, the annual March for Life. What is Vance saying? You would be more attuned to this, that you think is more pro-life.
Well, look, J.D. Vance is a convert to Catholicism, and he's a new convert. So he's still learning a lot about the teachings of the church and so forth. So I like that J.D. Vance was there. I'm glad that President Trump was supportive of that. President Trump himself did a recording there. But J.D. Vance mentioned my name on the stage and said no more peaceful men, no more men like this being targeted by the DOJ. So I think what you have in a J.D. Vance is a tremendous leader, obviously a Marine, a guy who understands, Semper Fi, right? Always faithful. So he understands what it means to stay true to that duty. And I think as a pro-lifer, which I would qualify him as, and he ran on that as a vice president candidate, he was always mentioned in our story. So I think, I hate to say it, but I think he's going to be more pro-life than President Trump. He might be our best pro-life candidate we've ever had. So we'll see how that all plays out. But I like J.D. Vance, and I like his stance on the life issue.
Absolutely. Mark, thank you. Thanks very much. Keep us in the loop, of course.
Sure. Absolutely. Thanks for having me, and thanks for covering the story.
All right. Mark Hal here on Talk Radio 1210. Again, J.D. Vance today at the March for Life. We know how, you have a little bit of that. Okay, thanks, Dan. Here's a little bit of J.D. Vance from the March for Life.
Now, it should be easier to raise a family, easier to find a good job, easier to build a home to raise that family in, easier to save up and purchase a good stroller, a crib for a nursery. We need a culture that celebrates life at all stages, one that recognizes and truly believes that the benchmark of national success is not our GDP number or our stock market, but whether people feel that they can raise thriving and healthy families in our country.
That's fine. That's fine. It just, when we get down to it, I'll say it when we start moving in on Josh Shapiro, you're not going to win in Pennsylvania, no exceptions, okay? Much as I admire, and Vance didn't get into that there, but that's going to be his angle of attack. People can't afford to get a home. Families can't afford to do that. Last election, people looked at that and said, that's right, and Biden's never going to do that. All right, a couple things. Dan gave me this, and I'll give you the flavor of it coming up. I think the morning show got this from several whistleblowers. Local school district, this is Dan North Penn School District, which is a school district where there have been difficulties from I guess he's the superintendent. He doesn't put superintendent, just respectfully Todd at the end, lays out their positioning on what they're going to do when it comes to ICE, when it comes to illegal immigration, et cetera. Now, do I see ICE going into schools, taking kids out? No, I don't think they're about that. You see what they've been doing so far. But these school districts are all posing to say they're going to die on this hill. We have one woman teacher on Libs of TikTok enunciating that. So we're going to see about that when ICE comes in. We played you the Bishop of El Paso today, talking about the Catholic Church seeing this as a humanity issue. Humanity, the people that were taken out. There's a viral footage from the White House of the people we deported being dropped off in Guatemala that people are going to see, and you're going to check that box and saying, yeah, can you imagine these people were here, the damage they were causing or could cause? All that straight ahead. But right now, first, it's time for Dom's Money Melody.
Money Melody!
Where has all the money gone?
All right, we're playing for a pair of tickets today to see the great Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra Friday, February 1st at the Asplunk Concert Hall at Westchester. I'm sorry, I wrote over that. It's not Friday. Is it Friday 21st? The 21st, yeah. At Westchester University. For tickets, visit joeconklin.com. All right, Dan?
Yeah, Dom. So me and Henry back here, what we were trying to do today, because we're talking movies, we're talking overrated movies. Well, I don't know much about this particular movie, so excuse me on that one. But we wanted a film or a song that initially began with a film. It started as a theme to a film and then really took off in popularity, and then the film was kind of forgotten about, and the song became a vessel of its own. So, Dom, here's a very popular song, and I want to know what the film was that it was made for. So, Dom, a film that really blasted off the career of a guy that was born here in Philadelphia, becoming a heartthrob. This film really started that whole, trend of him being a poster on a lot of females' walls. But, Dom, I'm going to play a song. Again, we want to know what movie that this song came from. Take a listen. Yeah, we all know that song. Yes.
Hit us with that, and we're looking for the movie.
We're looking for the movie.
Hit us with that. You're off to see Joe Conklin. Be the first one in. 855-839-1210. AT&T. Verizon Wireless. Just push pound 1210.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-419-2387. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-419-2387. 800-419-2387. 800-419-2387.
Kale and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
We still have a Christmas tree up in the
At
lobby
University
here.
of Maryland Global Campus, we give our students credit where credit is due. Credit for deciding in the middle of rush hour traffic to go back and get their bachelor's and a promotion. Credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. And credit for serving in the military by day so they can study cybersecurity at night. For over 75 years, we've been helping students receive the credit they deserve. With more than 135 degrees and certificates, students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. At UMGC, you'll find everything, online to hybrid courses, lifetime career services to scholarship opportunities, making your education journey flexible, fast, and affordable. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start February 12th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
D&K Appliances is a family-owned and operated business for 3 generations located in Newtown Square and Flourtown. D&K Appliances offers one-stop shopping, providing delivery, installation, and service of top brands like GE, Thermador, Wolf, Bosch, Speed Queen, KitchenAid, and Whirlpool for your kitchen or laundry. D&K Appliance sales associates are industry experts, supporting customers every step of the way. Visit D&K Appliances, the dependable difference. Newtown Square and Flourtown showrooms, or visit dkappliances.com.
The pro football playoff season is here, and there's one place to be. The BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Your home for wagertainment, giving you the sharpest insights and bringing on expert guest analysis.
From point spreads to props, live betting to futures, BetQL has you covered every step of the way with wall-to-wall coverage on the road to the championship in New Orleans.
Listen live on the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM on the free Odyssey app and twitch.tv/BetQL or YouTube at Odyssey Sports.
Free speech lives here on Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
It's Dom Money Melody.
Where has all the money gone?
Show me the money.
That's exactly right. All right, here is the song. What movie does this come from? All right, let me try Nick in Delran on Talk Radio 1210. Nick, what's the film?
Hi, it's American Gigolo.
Very nice. Do you know who the heartthrob was in that film, Nick?
Richard Gere.
Yes. And do you know whatever happened to Richard Gere?
I think he became a Buddhist.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, Dalai Lama, buddies with the Dalai Lama, but it's also, I don't know, the Communist Chinese Party.
Well, that's why the
Didn't
name
like
is
that.
so
That's right. That's why he disappeared, yeah.
I love you guys. I love your show.
Thank you, Nick. I'll put you on hold. Enjoy Joe Conklin. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious to me. That was the first, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Nobody bigger than Richard Gere at one point is the heartthrob in all those films. Had a serious side, buddied up with the Dalai Lama, Tibet. Can't do that with the Chinese. And as a result, Hollywood, suddenly the roles didn't come. I haven't seen him in anything, I don't know how many years.
Yeah. Set in a similar universe to A Taxi Driver, the lead character of Julian Kay there, played by Richard Gere, believe it or not, was first offered to John Travolta, who declined.
Yeah.
Christopher Reeve was offered the part, Chevy Chase. But,
Chevy Chase, yeah. That's kind of weird. American.
But Richard
Gigolo,
Gere was he ended up playing it, turned into a heartthrob, and a lot of it was because there was gay themes in the film, and that's why they didn't want to play the character at the time.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get stereotype at that point in time, going to be difficult.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I mentioned this from the morning show, and thanks, Dan, gave it to me. A couple of whistleblowers talking about the North Penn School District going political and then saying, well, what do you expect us to do? The role of the public school district to pick and choose who comes through our front doors. We are to give our students the best possible education each day. When students arrive on our doorstep, we are to embrace them, this from the superintendent, and work with their families to reach their fullest potential. We've heard from a number of staff members who have shared comments from students and families concerned about immigration enforcement. Now, I don't know why those students would have that worry. That's first. But here's the part that's really obnoxious. And families of LGBTQIA plus students. Now, why? We went through this the other day when we were talking about locally. We played you a clip of, it was the bishop lecturing President Trump. Where's the anxiety? What is it that Trump, in any way, shape, or form, or any Republicans in leadership, what are they doing that would create anxiety in these students? What they're saying about the transgender issue is the official policy of this country, there are only two genders. You want to believe in another, it's a free country, but officially there are two genders. I'm going to play you in a moment, too, the guy who may take over for Trudeau. This guy, we played a couple of times when he talks to news reporters and he's very much a Newt Gingrich-like. But this thing put out about the anxiety level at North Penn School District, based on what when it comes to LGBTQIA plus and all that stuff? Based on what? What is being done to them? Other than we're not putting up anymore with the nonsense, with the bathrooms, and more female sports. Nobody is searching out LGBT kids who are gay in any way. It's not about that. It's about this clear demarcation. The only one raising the anxiety are the people pushing this, like that bishop, saying how anxious everybody is that you're going to strike at them here. In what regard? This is how it's being sold. the anxiety level. And this is a pretty long email that goes on to talk about, there have been articles about gender and gender identity in the news as well. A few weeks ago, there was a federal court ruling that vacated the 2024 Title IX regulations, primarily impacting the protections in place under Title IX for gender identity. When those regulations were passed, we stated they would not impact how we protect our students. We already interpret our policies and procedures such that discrimination on the basis of gender identity is prohibited. Now that the federal Title IX regulations have reverted back to those that were issued in 2020, that is still our position. Well, is that position under current law and regulations? I mean, what the heck is this guy and the superintendent and these faculty members thinking is going to happen from Trump, of all people, around kids that are gay, things related, or faculty or whomever they're talking about? But ultimately, they're going to have to follow the law. And the law, as currently existed with the repeal of this, a lot of which was done by the Biden people, in the end, thanks to Moms for Liberty and others, is they're not in compliance with it. So if you, in your school district, if you get any of this stuff, let us know. We'll try to shine the light on it. Dan, we should invite him on. Are we going to bite? I'd like to know, and Dan, you heard some of this, right, with Dawn. Can you give me the capsule for him? I don't even know what this guy's saying. Oh, you weren't? Okay. Other than beating around the bush about this and telling us about anxiety coming from what Trump may or may not do. What is it exactly? They're ratcheting up this in kids. They're the ones that are provoking this anxiety. Now, he probably feels, well, the staff members are saying all this stuff, I have to address it. How about addressing it that the Trump administration is not going to be doing anything to anybody that's gay here? This is clearly, though, he does get to it, the gender identity. And that issue, currently, we know what the law is. We know what the change from the Biden people back to the Title IX regulations, which protect women. So where are we headed in these school districts? They're provoking stuff. They're raising anxiety in order to say that they are the good guys. This is cut 15. Here's a teacher from Libs Up TikTok laying out what she thinks she's going to do if ICE comes to her classroom.
I just want to say with my entire chest and 10 toes down on my broken tile classroom floor that it will be a frozen day in hell before someone from ICE comes in my classroom to remove a student that they suspect is undocumented first, because I have no undocumented students. What are you talking about? Second, even if I did, 1982 Plyer versus Doe says that it does not matter. Everyone is entitled to a fair and a free, appropriate education. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm so sorry I can't come to my door right now. We're learning. We're doing class stuff. You're going to have to come back later. And by later, I mean never, because there are hills that I will die on, and this is one.
Okay, then. So the rule of law, who's being taken out here, the stuff that we've seen play out, that means nothing. I played you the bishop, who is the spokesperson for the U.S. bishops in this whole thing. And in a nutshell, he said that a secure border is against some basic tenets of our faith. I wonder if they're going to be saying that over the altar. The problem with the Catholic Church here is they're speaking in vague gibberish usually. In other words, when we asked, are you defending these people among us who are serious criminals being rounded up and taken out of the country en masse, and it's up to about 500 or so. You don't get an answer to that. You get this vague stuff that is the moral high ground they believe. That's what they're engaged in. Sometimes, like Cardinal Dolan, we've played that, they lecture Catholics and tell them, well, your people came here in the same way. Not true, but that's their angle of attack. And the church is compromised because they're getting millions of dollars, or have been, to resettle so-called refugees of one sort or another from the border to places in New York and all over the place. That's going to stop. That money's going to dry up. So let's see what they do. What exactly are they going to do and tell Catholics? Are we going to be told if you're engaged in this with Trump that you're going to be excommunicated, which means you're going to hell? Is that where they're going to go? We'll see. They're going to be challenged, and ICE is rolling on. All right, 855-839-1210. You get a line. You can get in. If you've seen some of this in your city, your town, your schools, they're ratcheting up anxiety. No one is going to be bothering anybody here. But what this comes down to, particularly, let's start with sports. Yeah, it's over. You are not going to be competing against females again. And if you're not, you have nothing to worry about under this. So let's see what the North Penn School District, which has been engaged in any number of things that have made news here. Weren't they the one, Dan, was it North Penn? I believe it was, where the girl was hit over the head with one of those, Yeah. And nobody did anything. There was blood all over the place. This was a student who had difficulties, but instead of just keeping them isolated or sending them home, they allowed them to be in the lunchroom, and allegedly they attacked. We had that whole thing play out for weeks. So this school district is suspect in this, and they're ratcheting up fear from Trump that's completely irrational. There's not going to be any massive roundup of people based upon they're gay or these kids that are. But the transgender stuff and pushing that line legally is coming to an end. That's the bottom line here. 855-839-1210, you get on board. Hit us with that all-time film that you think is a bit overrated or maybe very overrated. Hey, are you looking to achieve your health goals and start the new year right? Now's the time to optimize and support your heart health, cholesterol, digestive health, energy levels, and more with Rescue Natural Supplements with their New Year's savings. Rescue is celebrating you. Save 35% on single bottles of Rescue supplements using the code HEALTH35. Try the popular Rescue 1250 Omega-3 for heart health, Rescue Probiotic for better digestion, or Rescue Oracine for more energy. Whatever your health goals are, Rescue has you covered. To place an order, call 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a Rescue product consultant or shop online at res-q.com, res-q.com. Start your journey for better health today. Use that code HEALTH35. Again, save 35% on all single supplements with that code HEALTH35. And don't wait. Make this year your best yet with Rescue.
Weather sponsored by Robert Half.
Forecast will remain quiet through the weekend. We'll see a mixture of sunshine and clouds today. Still chilly with a high around 33. For tonight, another cold night. Partly cloudy, low 18 for the city. Colder out in the suburbs. And for Saturday, partly sunny conditions. Highs once again around 33.
9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. Our recruiting professionals utilize an award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-511-3535. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider, 800-511-3535. That's 800-511-3535. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-511-3535.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-419-2387. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-419-2387. 800-419-2387. 800-419-2387.
If you depend on Social Security, your retirement lifestyle may be at risk.
Jim O'Neill, I'm from Huntington Valley, Pennsylvania. I have my doubts about where we're going as a country. Much of our Social Security funding may dry up, which is not good for the citizens who paid into that system. Take your money and put it into a crash-proof retirement system. With the crash-proof retirement system, I can supplement or even replace Social Security and not deplete my nest egg. It's guaranteed. This year, I have earned over 14%. We do not have to pay any fees, and you cannot lose it. I have absolute peace of mind because I am protected by crash-proof retirement.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the William Penn Inn on February 4th. Seating is limited and registration is required. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Now back to the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
This is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
I know to us this would seem a given, but given how crazy they are in Jersey, Donald Trump is a slight bit more popular than the King of Hair in Jersey. A new poll says that he performed much better than expected in the blue-leaning, well, Phil Murphy does too. He still has a 44% popularity rating. Trump is at about 48% in this Emerson College poll that's out today. And when you look at it going up and down the line, it's women are still the place where Phil Murphy beats out Trump. Survey shows 32% of Jersey voters have a very favorable view of Trump, while 16% view him somewhat favorably, 6% somewhat unfavorably, 39% very unfavorably. For Murphy, 17% have a very favorable view of him. My God, what are we going to do with these people? 27% somewhat favorable, 16% unfavorable, 26% very unfavorable with Murphy. But Trump clearly has a better overall rating than Phil Murphy. I know you can say small favors, but look at where we are. We're in Jersey. It's indicative of what's happening in New Jersey. It's indicative of where we're going with the governor's race. I follow Scott Presler and the others really, really closely, the Protect Our Coast people, and they are all over the place registering people, setting up the groundwork. All we need is to have a relatively normal Republican primary. Whoever wins comes out of that, I think, is going to be in a favorable position. In other words, if they start attacking Trump to whoever the Republican nominee is in New Jersey, it's only going to work somewhat. That Trump has gotten a much more favorable positioning than, say, 2-3 years ago. He's not radioactive in Jersey in that manner. I know. How could Phil Murphy have favorability? He's just, it's not even the ideology. It's just the person. All right, let's go to Greg in the Northeast. And Greg, you're in on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Greg.
Hey, Dom, how are you?
Good.
Yeah, I actually called in yesterday about the congressman, and I would just say this. It is now in Trump's lap, and I think the drone thing could be very well like a huge distraction and has been or whatever. But now it's up to Trump, and he has two things to say to us. One is it is us, and if it is, good, okay, chill.
Right.
That can be a general answer. It is us. We have it. We're in control. But the only other option is it is not us. And that's when we're going to see the man.
Yeah, and again, you heard the mayor today. That was great stuff from him. He actually said how he was in contact with people. And Greg saying 2 weeks. Why do we need 2 weeks? We've already had, 6 to 8 weeks of this?
I agree. And that anything in between, we're wasting time. Don't waste my time, man.
No,
and I would say the same to Donald Trump. I would say the same. Well, then tell me if you don't know, then you have to pull every resource we have right now until we all figure this out.
That's exactly right. And with Trump there, you would think his instincts would be toward that. But, Greg, I'm a bit disappointed. Now, look, he's doing a million things, like getting rid of FEMA today and all. I get it.
Yeah.
But my instinct would be, as yours is, you know what? This is not just Jersey. This is an example of trust in government. Who's doing this that people don't have any sense?
If this is easy meat, then eat it up.
Yeah.
Well, what are you telling me by not doing it, dude?
Yeah, exactly.
He's got to speak on this. He has to speak on this.
The clock is ticking on this. All right, we have a teacher in the area here, Dan, or Henry, who's was a Democrat. Okay. All right, let's go to anonymous teacher here on the Dom Giordano show. Hi, teacher. Welcome in.
Thank you for having me. So I just wanted to say that I have seen the ESL population in my community quadruple in the past 3 years.
Right.
And it's not sustainable. And what it does is it creates so much stress on the teachers, and it's really bringing down the quality of our education as well. And I love and adore all of the students, but I do feel as though Democrats need to look at what's happening at the border in a logical way. And it's another testament to the divide in this country about how, we can't see the other side. And if Trump says something, it's got to be wrong. And I am a Democrat saying what he's saying is not necessarily wrong. This is an issue.
Well, let me
and
take
we need
you
to
back
pay
to
attention.
it. Let me take you back to it. For my years, I taught in Camden, places like this, and it wasn't as overwhelming as what you're talking about. But if I had somebody that spoke English poorly, was just learning in classroom, or 2 or 3 of them, that is a real problem. And what you're experiencing is it's
6. There's 6 in a classroom at a time, and that teacher, it's hard because you have many different groups in the classroom that you're already trying to accommodate, and this is somebody else. So 6 kids who don't speak English in the class is very, very difficult. And our teachers are not trained, and they're not bilingual. And then the students suffer as well.
Yes, and again, there's only a certain amount of energy and focus you can keep all students on. If you're having to move to this in that manner, I've seen it. I had a guy in a class, even at community college, who had an incredibly thick accent. I tried my hardest to communicate, and he wanted to talk all the time or raise questions. I will tell you honestly, I just could not penetrate that. So it wasn't even a lack of English. It was just understanding what he was saying. If I had people that don't speak English in those numbers, I know what's going to happen. You're drained by that. You cannot move forward easily.
And trust me, our teachers are already so drained.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you. Thanks very much for that. I appreciate it. That's very logical. That's not attacking anything. It's a result. Remember the school district we talked about? We had them on in Springfield, Ohio. Charleroi. And they said, hey, you get, I think the kids may have been Haitian in Charleroi. You get kids in a classroom. The numbers were astounding that were English as a second language in a small school district. It's overwhelming. That's all that you're going to do. What about the others? So it's not negative toward people. It's just saying people are being overwhelmed by this. Do people want to acknowledge that? That was someone who was speaking about it in an unbiased manner, I think. It's a reality. All right, it is the lightning round next. Here's how you get in. 855-839-1210. Just hit me with that film that you think is a bit overrated or very overrated. Don't make it an obscure one. Oh, man. Jim in Egg Harbor Township. I got to challenge that one, too.
I was pushing him a little on the phone.
Oh, good. We got to Bruce in the Northeast. Challenge is coming up here. And Earl, I could live with that. Any superhero film, I would say, by and large, it's over. It's not.
Oh, boy.
It's not going to. Yeah, we'll get to that. 855-839-1210.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hi, Dawn Stensland here. You've heard me talk for years about Chapman Windows, Doors, and Siding. I love the work the Chapman family team has done in my home, especially that glass wall of patio doors in my foyer. You know by now, if I needed new windows, doors, siding, stucco remediation, I would only trust the Chapman family team. Until the end of January, get 50% off any standard door installation when you buy a new door. A new front entry door can really change the look of your home. If you have an upcoming wedding or maybe a graduation taking place this year, I'd take advantage of this fantastic promotion before it's too late. And yes, you have so many choices with the Chapman family team, including Provia. They're going to work with you to pick the perfect door for you. Either visit their showroom in Westchester or they'll come to your home. Call or text 610-431-8898, ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. Chapman, tell Dawn sent you.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
The city gears up to host the Eagles NFC Championship game on Sunday. Police are searching for two men they say used a minivan to rip an ATM out of a Chinese restaurant in Huntington Park. A Jersey mayor says he's outraged after immigration agents raided a seafood business in Newark without a warrant.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
What's better than bacon? Bacon on everything, of course. Add Hatfield bacon to every meal, from breakfast to dinner, for the perfect sizzling taste your family will love. With flavors like hardwood smoked, applewood smoked, maple brown sugar, and cuts from classic to extra thick, there's a Hatfield bacon for every recipe. Get inspired at simplyhatfield.com and discover new ways to enjoy your favorite bacon. Hatfield bacon. Find your flavor with Hatfield and put pork on your fork.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when.
Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I like a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
The time has come for the final test.
We usually call it the lightning round.
That is right. Hit us with that film that you think is maybe drastically overrated or a bit overrated. We'll declare a winner, then a winner for the week. The Earl of Taccone on Talk Radio 1210. All right, Earl, what's your film?
I know you're not a big fan of sci-fi, but J.J. Abrams' 2009 Star Trek movie. There are just so many things wrong with it. One, he tried to be cool and hip, and when they would film, they would shine flashlights directly into the lens and cause lens flare, which was annoying as hell and would give you a headache. But he said in an interview he never saw any of the original TV series. He never saw the source material. And it's like, you know, how about having some respect for the fan base? It'd be like the Dom Giordano movie. Yeah, Don, he's a TV weatherman in Los Angeles. He's 5'3", bald, gay, and his husband is Ron instead of Roe. And it's like, you know, you're turning against the people that built the job in the first place.
Thank you, Earl. I love how you spelled all that out. That took a lot of thought. Let's go to Jim in Eckerd. I got to challenge this one. I think Henry will too. Jim, what's yours?
Well, Don, before you challenge me on this one, the movie I'm going to say was up against the Atonement. It was up against Juno, Michael Clayton, and There Will Be Blood. And if the movie won, the best picture was No Country for Old Men. And I felt that Michael Clayton was a better movie for that year. I really didn't think that No Country for Old Men really was the quality of the other one. You really didn't know who was doing what he was, how he was doing.
All right, we got a little transmission problem. I'll just say I got to think about Michael Clayton. I only vaguely saw it, but No Country for Old Men is a really good film. So if the criteria is something else was better that year for film, that's a little hard.
I mean, that's it. Like, I like There Will Be Blood. I still like No Country for Old Men better.
Yeah. This is obscure, but what the heck. Tom in Rosemont is on the clock as a prime lawyer. Tom, what's yours?
Tom, this is an overrated movie that nobody ever actually talks about the plot because there is none. The Big Chill. If you want to get into that, listen to the soundtrack because that's good. The movie sucks.
Thank you, Tom. I don't think it's a great film either. I saw it. I kind of liked it. I'm not going to support it. All right. We got to get the winner of the week. So let's go Henry today.
I mean, shout out Bruce. I would have picked you. But
Yeah.
I'll go with Tom and Rosemont there at the end just because he's so angry about The Big Chill.
All righty. What's yours?
I like the Star Trek answer that we just had there, the English Patient. But I really like the way that it triggered really all of us with like a sign of cringe was the answer of The Pianist.
The Pianist, yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't like that answer.
It's a controversial answer, though. Like, I feel like that's kind of what we're going for, no? Like, we want something that's, you know, something that we might not agree with necessarily, but they're saying they don't like it personally, but...
I thought it was misguided, but I could live with that. Okay.
Yeah.
It was called it spurred other stuff. Yes,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
All right, then we'll go with it.
All right, let's go with it. With Gary / what his real name is, let's put him in there. Okay, let's have the roll call.
All right, Dom, on Monday, we asked for all-time fictional, famous, or real addresses. We got Earl Taccone, one with Third Rock from the Sun. Tuesday, no, I'm sorry, that was Tuesday, because Monday we didn't do one, Dom. We had Inauguration Day. That's
Yep.
right. Yeah, so Wednesday, Iconic Clothing, Robert called in with the Jane Russell bra. That was designed by an architect, right?
Yes.
Yesterday, all-time conspiracy, Noah's Ark being in Turkey. Drew of Upper Darby explained that he actually went out to Turkey to investigate whether or not the Noah's Ark was indeed there. Then you just heard Friday, it was The Pianist by Gary of Newtown, who was controversial in his answer, and yeah. So, Dom, we're going to throw them all into a hat. We'll get 1 sec. Let's give it a drum roll, please. I got a number 3 for Wednesday. Wednesday's winner being, sorry, this is confusing to me, Iconic Clothing, Robert in Lower Delaware.
That was a great answer.
Yeah, Jane Russell's bra.
Great call. It was a cantilever, the word of the week. Remember that as you're watching Eagles game this week. Henry, quick prediction, 5 seconds.
Close game. Eagles come out on top.
Dan?
Eagles will crush them. Go Birds. 30-14.
Oh, my God. That's playing to the
Lucky
crowd.
for Gary, they'll cover.
Okay. I don't even know about
Commanders
covering. I predict very, very close. Shaky field goal kicker. They come out on somehow hook or crook.
Fun fact, Jake Elliott is the highest percentage field goal kicker in NFL playoffs history, but he's the worst extra point kicker ever. So,
all right. Keep that in mind. Tip from Henry. Mike is back. Mike Opelka sitting in for Rich today here on Talk Radio 1210.
Do you have a property that you no longer want? Maybe you inherited the property. Maybe you're underwater in the property. Or maybe you're just a tired landlord, tired of dealing with tenants. Listen, I can buy those properties, and I'll buy those properties fast. I can close in 2 weeks. I buy properties cash. My name is Larry Steinhaus. Give me a call at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137, and I will personally answer the call. You can also visit easyOutRealEstate.com. Hey, this is Larry Steinhaus from Investor Schooling. Did you know I have a radio show every Saturday from 1 to 3? It's called The Larry Steinhaus Show, and it's sponsored by Investor Schooling. On this show, you will learn things about finances and things about money that you never knew before. But even more of a reason to listen to this show is how much fun we have. If you haven't heard the banter between me, Omri, and Dr. Deb, you haven't heard the greatest show on earth. Listen to this show this Saturday at 1 o'clock right here on WPHT, and I promise you will learn something.
With so much uncertainty in the world today, you may find yourself wondering, is now even the right time to retire?
And so many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately,